Hello everyone and welcome to the STPL semi-finals. I've just realized the picture in the top left shows the wrong thing. That is going to be an interesting problem to have. But either way, we are going in to the grand finals finally. I call it the grand finals, but the actual grand finals will be after the semi-finals obviously. But it's kind of like an amalgamation of over a year and, well, it's basically a year and a quarter's worth of casting and playing by the players as well. So, welcome, Rapid.
Yeah, it's a little known fact that the STPL is 1/4 as old as Kix is. Basically, it's been around for a very long time, and so we're very happy to have the grand finals finally coming around. Kix has been living a good life off the proceeds of the prize money, and now finally we have to make him give it back.
Yeah, it's been sitting there at my bank accruing interest on Metrino, but you know what? Good times have to come to an end at some point, and I will eventually have to give out some money. And let's actually have a look at the teams that made it this far. There's been, you know what, I'm going to bring up the graph anyway. There's been about 20 teams, I think it is overall, although I probably miscounted. And only 4 of them have made it to these semi-finals. Having a look at some of the sort of results there, you can see the round 1 winner was WHITECLAN, round 2 winner was WHITECLAN as well, then SouL won round 3 and 4. But it's kind of interesting to see just the number of qualification points and the way that it kind of spread evenly between about 7 teams, and then obviously you have the 2 teams that did vastly better than everyone else. And I mean, NetWars did a lot better as well. They got 2 second place finishes. And then the kind of last 3 teams there were really quite close, so it was quite difficult.
Yeah,
and I wasn't really sure
the music is way too loud.
Is it? Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, hopefully that's better. I didn't realize. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay. Yeah, just to kind of go back over.
It's great now.
Yeah, it's great. So, SouL and White, they made it through with the most points. NetWars very close behind an iRk as well, of course. It's sad to say goodbye to teams like Naz and DM and Red, who also made it in. Very strong teams in their own right. But the top 4 here, definitely the ones that kind of deserve to be here, I would say.
Oh, for sure. I can't believe that you didn't give iRk like a "You Tried" trophy, because they deserve to be here too, even
iRk
though, you know, they might not. What?
iRk
No. I mean, yeah, but they don't have a trophy.
Oh,
that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we need to give the kids participation trophies these days to make them feel good about themselves. We got to give Twitch chat a trophy for them feeling good about themselves. Everybody gets a trophy, except that the guy in first place gets the biggest trophy, and currently that's SouL and WHITECLAN. And honestly, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not, you know, duking it out for, you know, all the marbles in the end. But I would say that it at least just, you know, you shared some of the rosters with me earlier. We just have monsters of StarCraft playing. It's just going to be so insane. You know how you never know who's going to win because you never know which lineup is going to be brought? WHITECLAN have like 58,000 people. They've got the population of Barbados basically on their team. Like, that's how many people are signed up to play for White. NetWars even still have like a really deep roster, and, you know, SouL and iRk. Actually, iRk is pretty consistent, but you never know who's gonna, you know, show up when you walk through that door. Except that now we just have all the teams super ultra mega try harding. They're gonna bring their strongest players, and it's just gonna be the sickest finals.
Yeah, and just to point out as well, obviously there are the trophies there. They're just sort of the order of qualification. So then we had SouL versus iRk and WHITECLAN versus NetWars for our semi-final. But currently those 4 teams are all completely dead even. They enter the semi-finals completely as expected. Obviously they've been seeded, but that doesn't mean anything. When you've got teams as strong as these, anything could happen. And I guess starting us off here for today, we're going to have SouL versus iRk, and let's have a look at their history. But more and more units going in here. We do actually have a scan coming up from Dandy. GG! And now there definitely is. There's almost more DTs than SCVs, and GG! Best, he lost his main base earlier on. He's losing Templar left and right to the Mulisks, and GG here. He doesn't even realistically need to mine this now. Another mine does go down. That could be a big mine, but it's not going to be enough. GG! It's 5 versus 8. That's not going to be enough with the Scourge coming in as well. All of the Mealists go down for Whistler. And GG! As he moves in before too many units have been produced, the Sunkens gonna go down, and it's gonna be Lings against stimmed Marines. Of course, the Marines don't have a medic with them, so any stim they do is gonna weaken them. But the first medic is coming up here, and GG! But Oyaji is going in. This is going to be the moment. The scan either holds or Oyaji wins this game. GG! And it looks like Kaitu with 4 Zerglings may have actually done enough to kill the wall. Yes, he has. GG! And this is the big reveal. 4 Dragoons coming in here. It's speed first. No mines here to defend. GG! Slowly but surely, Scan is really going to try and bring a stranglehold in, and this is going to be a free tank here. GG! It's the ground here, and the natural's been busted. That could be it. GG!
Matter. This is going to, I mean, pretty much seal the deal here, and SouL are looking at a 3-0. Oh, he's going to kill the Robo before the Reaver comes out. This is actually totally tragedy. Can't repair your buildings if you're not Terran kicks, and he's even going to lose the Nexus here. This is basically game over, and damn if we just didn't make it barely past the 6-minute mark.
Okay, so I mean, having a look there, you saw just how many times these teams have played against each other. They've played each other 4 times already. They're the only 2 teams who have met each other every single round without fail. SouL Gaming, they're 3-1 up against iRk. iRk actually took the first win in round 1. It's been sort of a hard path. SouL increased their roster exponentially with some really amazing players that Fujikura, the captain, kind of picked up from all of the Havatyu tournaments that Shamtu was like running. And I mean, they were the tournaments they were pretty much winning or getting to the top 4 of pretty much every time.
Yeah, no, it's actually very remarkable what SouL Gaming has done, because I think previously, especially like round 1, you know, WHITECLAN were like the big bad kids on the blocks. They were like pushing you over off the jungle gym, you know. And then SouL have like quietly, well, somewhat noisily, but also quietly, they pick up like all the best players, and basically, you know, in the previous era of StarCraft, you were either on like a big bad pro team, or you're just a member of the clans, and the clan system is what sort of prepared young talented players for being in the pro scene. And SouL Gaming is kind of that that kind of clan system, along with WHITECLAN, that's just bringing up these badass amateur players, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, and iRk, I mean, they cannot be ignored either. They were the only team in a single round to take down both White and SouL Gaming. They did that in round 1. They've got some incredible players themselves. They've pretty much got, arguably, outside of, say, NetWars, the best players in Europe. Obviously, Naz has Eon Zerg as well, but so that means Eon Zerg won't be here. But, I mean, iRk, they've got DeWalt, they've got Marwin. I know Yan asks, like, does iRk not have any Terrans? For the longest time, they actually didn't. It wasn't until round 3 when they added Marwin to their roster. And I mean, he's playing pretty consistently. Like, I think all of their Terran wins and losses pretty much are all from him. But now they've added SPX as well, and SPX is another really strong. I can't remember if he's European or Russian, but either way, he's a really strong foreign Terran. And you know what? It just adds to their roster. And they're even a team that's done their own like LAN parties and things like that. Aggie, the clan leader's done that twice now. And just overall, they've been really a force to be reckoned with. Unfortunately, they kind of had a lot of trouble in round 2 and 3, but round 4 they came back. They did a great job. They qualified again into the playoffs. And the playoff win into their 3rd place win on round 4 was actually what qualified them into the semi-finals. So well deserved for them to be here. And I mean, I guess the best thing we can do now is actually introduce what players are going to be playing today, as that's going to be like the main big factor on how this could go. Now, both teams have got such strong players, but starting us off in game one, we're going to have a ZBT between Spire and SPX on Neo Electric Circuit, a TVP between Scan and Arc Neon on Pathfinder, a PvZ between Noob and Kamizerg on Holy World SE, and then a TVP between Bjol and DeWalt on Polaris Rhapsody.
Stop making things up. You're lying to the fans, Kicks. The lineups can't possibly be this good. How? How do we deserve this? Us, lowly Twitch chat and casters, to be able to witness such a spectacle. You know, back in the day, in order to get games this good, you had to be an emperor with a coliseum. But now, thanks to the wonder of Brood War and badass players, we get to watch this. How truly blessed are we in the common era in 2019 to be able to witness this orgy of skill and talent before our eyes.
I mean, one of the amazing things as well is these teams have been playing since round one. They've been there since March last year. They've consistently played all their games. They have put in a ton of effort. They've improved their teams amazingly as well. And it just shows, like, when you have such a long tournament, not that I really want to put teams through this again. I'm going to make sure that the format of the new one is going to be a little bit more forgiving on them, because making people play in a single tournament for like nearly a year and a half is not really fair. But like, it just shows that the cream will really rise to the top, as just the creme de la creme of teams here have made it to the top four. And let's actually have a look at our first couple of players and see how they've been doing. Well, we're only going to be looking at one because one of them is actually a new pickup, but Spire has done an amazing job. He's got a 73% win rate. He's beaten some amazing players. I mean, who else can you look at and said in the last 5 games, they beat Eonzerg, they beat DeWalt, they beat TT1, they beat TrueTouch, and they beat FatMassey as well.
Yeah. Oh, the honorable mention is that when Eonzerg and Artosis were going to the ACS qualifiers, they both queued right into Spire's group. So Spire 2-0'd Artosis, and then he 2-1'd Eonzerg, and then he went on to almost win the group, but I think he lost to Olympus or something. But yeah, Spire is one of the most badass up-and-coming Korean amateur players. He has come dangerously close to qualifying for every major league. And so he is he's very, 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 very good. He's also super cool to hang out with, which is just a nice little humble brag name drop, because Artosis and Eonzerg and I had coffee with them at ACS, and it was really cool. But I can't wait to see this guy play, because I can't see a world in which he doesn't not only win the game, but also maybe even come back as ace.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got for iRk SPX. He's a Russian Terran that's been around for a very long time. He's actually not played in STPL at all. In the year and a half, he's decided to join iRk at the very last minute, joining after round 4 ended, kind of bolstering the roster here, ready for the semi-final playoffs. And I mean, he's a great addition. SPX, I saw a lot of his games back when I was doing Clash for Char. I saw a lot of his games during the TL Open, and he's a really strong Terran player. His TVZ is arguably his best matchup. I didn't really see too much of his TVP just because there wasn't that many foreign Protoss players back when sort of I was doing the Clash for Char, but just an amazing Terran overall. And let's actually go in to introduce our first map here. It's going to be one of my favorite maps. It's returning here from round 1. It's going to be Neo Electric Circuit. Okay, well, now it is. There we go. Okay, so Neo Electric Circuit, a great map. One of the I want to say, like, in the pro scene, it was actually one of the more balanced maps for a while. The longer it stayed around in Pro League, the more sort of games you saw, which were a little bit wonky. But in the STPL, it's not done too badly. Terran are actually 6 for 3 up against Zerg. I mean, obviously one benefit of this map is Terrans do get a sort of free mineral-only base as their third behind their main. You can also take your natural there if you want to wall in and go mech, but there isn't a gas there, which can cause a few problems for Zerg.
Yeah, I actually don't know what this map at least looks like in, I think, specifically TVZ, because I think you just get probably dropped quite a bit. Especially like if you go like a gas opener, dropships come out before a lot of Zergs are really like airtight against that defense. I don't know. I'm excited to see what this looks like. Actually, the Caster Muse Invitational or Star League that happened a while back. I was actually talking to Caster Muse, who speaks like super good English, and he said this is actually his favorite map, and he wants to have it in all of his leagues. And I was like, well, let me tell you about a young man named Kix who puts this in all of his tournaments too.
Yeah.
So get some stuff in common. But yeah, it's a very classic map. It's been around from, it's one of the older maps, actually, one of the oldest maps. So very excited to have it still kept alive here, if only by Kix live support.
Well, I wouldn't say it's one of the oldest maps. It's from 2011, but you know what? I mean, I don't look at that as old, but realistically, that's 8 years. 8 years
realistically,
is a very
that
long
is
time.
Insanely old. But you're right. It's not like it's from the Tooniverse Open,
Oh my god, those maps from back then, man. I was
they're the worst maps I've ever seen. I could make a map from the first Brood War tournament in MS Paint. Like, that's how bad it is. But it was a different time,
Well, you know what? We can't make an MS Paint, and what we're about to see now is some magic artistry done by Spire and SPX as we get into game number 1. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we do have the Teal Zerg fighting for SouL Gaming. It's Spire.
That's right, and his opponent is the Russian Terran playing for iRk. In the bottom left-hand corner in the green, it's SPX. So, we do have 2 green colors playing, so bless us, forgive us if we have a very hectic team fight, but for the most part, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be a TVZ iconic matchup. They're not cross spawns, so we could actually even see some aggression from Spire. It's not actually a super big mystery what you're going to be playing against from him, because he does love muta builds, so I'm expecting to see one of those. I just don't know kind of which variation it's going to be. I hope it's the 2-hatch, because he is so brutal.
Now, I mean, one good start is we don't have an 8-racks, and if there's people tuning into the STPL for the first time for this, there's an emote in my chat called 6-Minute Curse. Now, you may think, why? Why is this a thing? Well, the STPL has a history of bringing us games that don't go over the 6-minute mark. Now, I'm hoping that this will not be one of them, but I was watching back a lot of the old Pro League VODs over the last few weeks, and you know what? A lot of Pro League games ended around 6 minutes as well. I think it's just, maybe it's a Pro League curse, not so much the STPL curse, but either way, 6 minutes. That's the big time to watch out for.
Yeah, it's actually kind of hard to have players like coincide at equal skill levels. And this might be a little bit of a matchup too. I'm not super well versed in SPX skill level right now. But I know that very recently, Spire's been playing in offline and online tournaments using KCM. I think a little bit ago. So I think there's a lot of footage of him being a badass lately. So I'm going to be a little bit biased, but not undeservedly so. And if you guys are watching and you're sick SPX fans, make sure to spam about how I don't deserve a job. In chat. So, for the most part, I think we're going to be expecting, like I said, that gas expansion from SPX, and so things are going to get off the ground a little bit slower. but they're literally going to get off the ground a little bit faster because he might be making an air unit because of gas.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, one thing to note as well is in this matchup, 1-1-1 or even a mech opening is quite difficult to do, but one of the benefits you have on this map specifically is, I'm not sure if we'll see it here, but where you have the side disruptors and the minerals, you can actually push a vulture behind the mineral line. Well, not so much behind the mineral line, but past the natural and past any sunken. So if SPX manages to get a Vulture in, he could do a lot of damage. Obviously, it will give him a perfect scout. The SCV sees the 2-hatch layer coming in. Double gas still not up yet. Obviously, that's going to be a little bit later. But let's see exactly what SPX plans to do. Looks like he does have... he actually skipped Vulture. He went straight into Machine Shop, so that's a bit of an interesting choice.
Well, so what's interesting about that is that you never know exactly what kind of version of this build you're going to get, because it's going to be some sort of 1-1-1, right? But you don't know kind of how you want to spin the 1-1-1. And one of the great things, and Flash has an epic video about this, just explaining everything about 1-1-1. It's translated with subtitles. And he talks about just how super ultra complex this build is, because you can kind of do anything with it. So this is going to be the variation with no Vulture, which is just probably a really difficult one. And I love what SPX is doing, trying to bring over the barracks here and kill this Overlord.
Yeah, it's a bit dangerous. I mean, one lucky thing for him is Spire actually decided to try and check for a floated factory. Now, it's not really a normal build you would ever see, but there is a really cheeky thing you can do on this map specifically. It works on Neo Medusa as well, where you can kind of float a factory in from outside. Now, he did send his Lings to check for that, and it means he's going to stay alive a little bit longer, because obviously where he skipped the Vulture, he didn't have really any units to defend against any Lings. So, I mean, SPX is kind of in the dark. He's going to need to make sure he gets an armory up pretty quickly, and possibly even go for some kind of Valkyrie build. Obviously that made me very happy, but he did go speed first, so that's going to give Spire something to worry about.
I do like the speed because it's going to get you out on the map and give you that soft map control, and especially against Lings, if you were getting flooded, you desperately need that speed to be able to micro.
Yeah, but he's going to try and break past. Spire's already pulled all his drones though, so that's a little bit lost mining time.
Actually, this reminds me a lot about when a Terran player is getting Ling busted early. They have to pull all of their SCVs to block. Now this is the Zerg version of having to pull all your drones just to not let the 3 Vultures through.
Yeah.
But they don't get through. There's no real casualties, but there are still only 2 hatcheries, and with a Hydra Den as part of that wall, and the Spire just now popping, I mean, we are just going to have fast Mutalisks, and this is going to be really kind of cool to watch, because I don't know how much information SPX has after he lost that early scouting SCV.
Yeah, no, I mean, SPX is looking around with his Wraith to see if he can find some Overlords, but doesn't actually opt to try and kill the first one. Does want to just make sure he can get into the base. Obviously, the Spire has finished up. The first Mutalists are out, and they're going to be on their way. There's no turrets. SPX is natural at the moment. He's going to have to get those up very quickly, because those Mutalists are not going to be able, or they're not going to be planning to stopping anywhere.
He's not building turrets, is he? I don't think he's building turrets anywhere. Yeah, he has 1 turret about to complete in the main, but that's it. There's just nothing here. He's going to kill all the Marines right before the bunker finishes. Oh, wow, just the second before the bunker finishes. And now everything here is going to die. Holy cow kicks. That was so tight.
Yeah, that was super close timing. Now, the one benefit is SPX is going to sack these SCVs. Obviously, it's not great, but he's allowed to get a turret up in his natural. He's going to have to pull and repair, though. If he doesn't repair this, he's going to lose all of his SCVs. This is one of the downsides of not going into a Valkyrie build. Looks like he is going to be going for Cloak, so he is going to be able to push the Mutas away for now. But it's not really something he wants to be doing, and with no... I mean, this is just a dead bunker. There's no Marines in it.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully there's an Overlord here. Otherwise, Spire would be in a lot of trouble. He does try to save the Rays, but they go down. And with their death, so dies SPX. Very good play there by Spire. And you know what was really strange for me, Kix, is he goes for this. He gets the sorry, my camera comes up in a second, guys. He goes for this fast Wraith off the 1/1/1, and I'm like, okay, yeah, everything seems normal, but he hunted Overlords with it. He didn't like run it into the main. And like,
Yeah,
you have to get information. This is like when Protoss builds a first Corsair, you send the Corsair into the main, and many Protoss players have died because they try to kill Overlords with the first Corsair instead of scouting with it. You just gotta know. And if
yeah,
he had seen the Spire timing and only 2 hatches, then you know exactly what's coming.
it's really dangerous. 2-hatch is the counter to 111 realistically. Back in the day, the person who really popularized 111 Fancy, he died to 2-hatch muteless all the time. Because no matter what mech build you go, you're weak to 2-hatch muter. That's just how it is. And when you see a game like that, it feels to me like SPX kind of pulled this out and was hoping for a quick win with the Vultures, but it didn't work, and he just wasn't prepared for what was coming up afterwards. So it's a little bit disappointing for our first game. It did go past the 6-minute mark, but just barely. We hit 7 minutes 3 seconds, or 7 minutes 14 seconds, sorry. But that's going to take us into game number 2 when we get back after this short break with iRk's Argneon versus SouL Scan. Hello guys, and welcome back to the STPL semi-finals. This is our first semi-final between SouL and iRk. SouL won the first game with Spire taking down SPX. A very crucial moment happened in that game that I didn't really highlight as well as I could have done. Basically, SPX's build was building up to get 3 Vultures with speed and get them past the past the sunken and do a bunch of drone damage, because if you kill enough drones, all of a sudden the muteless follow-up, which he knew was coming from that early layer, is completely nullified. And I think when Spire did manage to block that, that was definitely the moment that won him the game. SPX, I think, was a little bit thrown off after. He couldn't do the damage he needed to do. He delayed his anti-air a little bit too much, and I mean, it came back and bit him.
Yeah, it was very, very close there. The block that was so important, but ultimately at the end, the mutas just kind of came out and killed everything because the turrets weren't up in time. And we talked about how he skipped Vulture early just to get that machine shop out super fast, and ultimately, not going to work out. So, oh well, thus dies another Terran player. But coming up, we have probably the strongest Terran player in today's games. One of them, for sure. It's going to be a very, very epic matchup.
Yeah, so let's actually have a look at who it's going to be. I mean, I was just showing off the wrong screen, but looking at SouL, it's going to be Scan. Scan, obviously still in the army at the moment, but still able to play STPL. He's been really consistent for his team. He's ranked 2 in the STPL overall. His ELO is insanely high. He's beat incredibly good players. He went through a string of Terrans as well in the last four of his games. Obviously, he's going to be in a TVP here. The only real high-profile TVP I'd say he's played in a long time was actually against Angler for Valhalla team, and he actually lost that one. So, as much as he is 8 for 3 against Protoss, he's not played the best Protosses. I mean, when you're someone like Scan, it's really hard to find someone who's as good as you. And I mean, there's been a lot of tries from different teams and whatnot. He did lose to a Yaji all the way back in round 2. He lost on, no, it was round 3 actually. It was Shimpeaks Abegdu he lost. And overall, just an absolute boss.
Yeah, for sure. I think that really kind of sums it up. There's very few things Scan hasn't done. If he hadn't lost to Ann, then that'd just be all green, because he is just one of the best players in the STPL. 86% win ratio, sick insane high elo, and so you really can't, you can't root against this guy. If you're a Scan hater out there, then like you just hate watching good StarCraft. I'm sorry, it's just kind of what he does a lot. So I'm excited to see what he does today, because I think that he's another very favored player in this matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at his opponent, Argneon has been around for a very, very long time. I first met him back in 2015. He set up a clan and then disappeared off the face of the earth and left me as the clan leader. So it's kind of interesting. He's not been as active in the STPL as maybe I think I would have liked him to be, just because I really do enjoy watching him play. I mean, he's got an 80% win rate, but he hasn't properly played since June last year. That's a long time ago. And I mean, he has got a really good win rate, but it's kind of cool to see how he's going to do here. I know he streams actively a lot recently, so it's kind of good to see him once again. He plays, I think he can actually play all the races to a fairly high level, but Protoss is his main. So looking forward to seeing how he's going to do here up against Scan. iRk Protosses have shown they can beat Scan before, so let's see if Argneon can keep up that tradition as we get into our second map of today, also from round 1. It's Pathfinder. Now Pathfinder is going to be our 3-player map of today. It was used all the way in round 1. We had some really, really cool games on here. Back then, it was pretty much just me casting. I know you sort of joined me for near the end of it. So I saw a lot of solo caster games on this, and we saw some really, really cool games. That's why I kind of brought it back here for the semi-finals and grand finals, because you know what? I run the tournament and it's the power I have. But there was also a sort of fan vote, and Neo Aztec and Polaris Rhapsody won those, so they're also coming back as well. You'll see those a little bit later. But Pathfinder, 3-player map, one of the more interesting maps, and there's been a lot of sort of ASL candidate maps over the past year or so that have kind of taken the Pathfinder style, where you have sort of the mains in a little island in the middle of the map almost, and there's a long sort of path around the edge.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty common kind of theme, but specifically for Pathfinder, it's called Pathfinder because you can actually do a lot with the way that you path around this map. And one of the most crucial issues is that if you're positioning like a large Protoss ground army, for instance, it can be really hard to sort of guess if you don't have good observer placement where your opponent's going to be coming from because there are just a lot of different pathways. So
Yeah.
kind of cool to see it living up to its name. But it doesn't have like a guaranteed like super hardcore win rate like PvT. So I don't actually know exactly what to expect here, except that probably Scan is a very good player. Might be a little bit thrown off because I'm sure it's been quite a while since he's played on this map too.
Yeah. And let's find out how they're both going to do as we get into game number 2. It is Scan versus Arcneon on Pathfinder. Okay, and starting us off in the 12 o'clock position, we do have the Red Protoss fighting for iRk. It's the Finn, it's Arcneon.
That's right, and his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner in teal, this is SouL's Terran player Scan. And he's saying didn't know Finland is so far. Actually, Finland is one of the closest European countries to South Korea. It's about I think somebody told me it was like a 5-hour flight from Finland to South Korea. Crazy, right?
It's kind of insane, but I guess it is sort of on the very eastern part of Europe almost. I mean, it's bordering Russia, so
yeah.
That probably helps. I guess the one problem you may have internet-wise, though, is North Korea existing, and also China. Makes it a little bit harder for the internet connections to get in there, but hopefully, if we switch up to extra high latency on our side, the good thing is this is casted from a replay, so the players may have had a little bit of lag from playing themselves. This is a global tournament, but they don't also have two casters from the other side, or opposite sides of the world pretty much, trying to lag their game as well. Also, trying to cast all the games as they were live would be pretty much physically impossible. I would most likely never actually get to sleep or stop casting. I would likely be casting for probably the whole week,
sure
I would say.
I was like, is this actually not on fastest? Because I think the mining is lagging a lot for me. So I did change the latency. Okay, it's much better now.
Yeah.
We fixed it. No, you're totally right. I'm glad. I hope they had a decent turn rate for this because PvT is really rough if you have a low turn rate because your Dragoons just die to tank shots and you're like, oh well, can't micro those. But
Yeah.
you can queue up bulldogs and you can still do some cool stuff even if the latency isn't super great. I love how Scan, this is exactly what I said when we were prefacing this map, is that Scan has probably not played on this map ever. And he's like, wait, I can just stay on my base forever. I'm like, yes, you can. You can just live on this tiny little rock chunk. And even actually, if you look at your natural in third, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah. So the rest of the mineral patches actually do have quite a few minerals, but some of the minerals are depleted. Well, not depleted, but they don't all have the full 2K minerals.
Yeah, no, I quickly popped over to the thing to have a look at the playback thing, just to make sure we are on fastest, and we are. I think there's a little bit of lag between me and Rapid. I'm just going to make sure that I pause the preview of my stream, which was still running. Hopefully that will help a little bit. It is so strange how we can lag so much in a replay, but the good news is I should be getting a new PC soon as well, which is definitely going to help, because the RAM on my PC, I think, is actually dying. So that's probably not a big help. Now, Scan is going to be hiding an SCV away from any possible probe intruders. Going to be able to get that out. Have a look at the other main. Of course, there is a possibility you just misclicked, which is very, very possible. But you know what? We like to see that people are doing a good job. So factory on the way for Scan. His units have been pulled, or his SCVs have been pulled out of gas. So very, very standard build from him. And meanwhile, on the other side, I think we've actually got 1 gate core as well, so things are definitely looking very, very standard for the start of this game.
Yeah, and I want to see how Scan sort of adapts to this map, because when he's typing in chat that he doesn't know truly what is going on here, There's a couple of like some oddities as far as this map. This map is just gigantically open. If you're fighting like these big chaotic battles in the middle, then that can be just, I mean, you can really have to fight like a 360-degree kind of confrontation. And also, you're not really totally sure where your opponent's going to come from until you scout them. And the scouting paths, and this is one of the things that's really scary for new players, is if you play it on a new map, it's dark. You don't know where you're supposed to go. And so maybe somewhat comically, Scan, like, look at where he's scouting with this SCV. I'm not sure what he's looking for up here, but I don't think he actually knows exactly where to send the SCV to scout.
I'm almost certain he knows where he's going, just because he obviously did scout the other main first. It does mean you can avoid the first Dragoon. Obviously that Dragoon is going to come back and find him. Can Arcneon actually block the ramp? That's going to be a big moment. No, the ramp on this map is very, very wide, and the SCV does get in, does see that it's one gate core, and that's exactly what Scan needs to know. He's scouted there's no proxies in the top left of the map, in the top middle as well. He's going to get his bunker up, he's going to go into most likely mines behind this, but he could go for siege mode and go for a tank. He is going to go for tank first, and he's just going to play this very, very carefully. And I mean, the main thing is he knows there's going to be some kind of tech coming on the way, and it's going to be a robo.
Yeah, I really like this. I think more Protoss players need to just play like safely, like just get an observer early. You know, you can do the I'm a Protoss things where you just put damage out with early Dragoons, but just don't try anything funny. I feel like the last few Protoss that I've been seeing die in, especially PvP, but also in PvT, is just players who try something cute. So this is going to be pretty standard opener. Although right as I say that, there comes the Citadel. Wow, how did he save that Dragoon? I thought one more tank shot was going to pop it.
That would have done. He got away just in time. Now, the Citadel is an interesting choice here. It does mean he can go for speed lots, but it's most likely going to be Artosis' worst nightmare, and it's going to be a DT drop. We'll have to keep an eye out for that Templar Archives. Looks like that's going to come in now. Now, DT drop is actually a really strong opening against Scan. Scan obviously knows there's going to be some kind of tech coming, so it's not a guaranteed amount of damage. And you can see that kind of carefully, Scan has already built the engineering base, so he will have a turret at the front, but he's not necessarily going to waste his time building a turret at the back of his base just yet. So if these DTs come out, and he's going to be able to get 3 DTs in one go, he's going to have a shuttle coming in as well, he's going to be able to get 3 DTs into that main and do a lot of damage. But as I say that, Scan gets the missile turret in the main.
Man, this is like a Protoss, just a little bit of everything. This is a smorgasbord Protoss build. He's just literally getting a little bit of everything. It's basically the OBS opener, but you get an extra gate and the DT tech with an expo. So I'm not super up on my Protoss build, but it just seems like he's very versatile. But it is exactly what you said, Kicks. 3 DTs straight to the main, and this really bypasses the real characteristic of this base layout, which is that you just have a wide open wall around your main.
And I mean, this observer's going to run in, see that there is a turret there. That is a big loss to lose that first observer without scanning the factory count. But the one benefit is he saw the fact that there was only one turret. 3 DTs will be able to take that out no problem, and there's no scanners yet. So if these DTs can get in and they can even just kill that first tank, then things are going to go well. But you can see that Scan knows something is coming. He's pulled his 3 tanks up from his natural, and characteristically, he's just going to be perfectly safe while these comsats come up.
Yes, interestingly enough, Scan getting Scan here will be able to use that. But they're not up yet, you know? And this shuttle is going to be able to drop them with kind of impunity. You can snipe that scanner. Oh, actually, or you can just like run and snipe that turret. I mean, that's actually that would be the best option. But okay, the tank's sieging up.
Yeah,
I don't think anything's going to happen here.
It's better to not run in and lose everything, and I mean, you can see that Scan is already adding on a depot at the back to try and wall off his minerals. He's adding a starport to wall off the bottom ones in his natural as well. I mean, this DT in the main, yeah, it's going to be able to get a couple of these depots. He's going to force some scans out, and that's scans that Scan is going to need if he wants to try and move out on the map. So I mean, this is a good move by Arcneon. Just keeping everything alive as long as humanly possible is definitely the best choice here. And he could even delay this factory. Oh.
I mean, he loses 1 DT, but there's still 2 more out there. And that was actually really valuable. You got 2 scans for 1 DT. Those are scans that aren't scouting you. Currently, the Terran player has 0 information what's going on out there on the map. And I love that Arcneon's taking a 3rd base behind this.
Yeah, the 3rd base is a good choice. Obviously, it is going to be a mineral only, but it's one of the farthest bases on the map for Scan to be able to get to. The pathways to it are very small. You can see you can actually do a 2 pylon forge wall at the top middle of the map here. He's not going to get the gas, but it's not a massive deal. He's going into Arbiter Tribunal off of 2 base here. And just overall, he's looking to still try and power up Mill. The Vultures are actually going to catch one of these DTs out in the middle of the map, and the probe. But there's another shuttle coming in with 2 more DTs to see if they can do any damage.
I like that he does have the DTs out here and like doing some weird stuff just to see if there's any options. I feel like pro gamers get a lot of value out of just having the potential to find some really interesting value out on the map. So, Scan, finally, he's getting some information, right? He hasn't been able to scan his opponent's base yet. He's getting out there and making sure that there's no crazy shenanigans like that other main being taken,
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where Scan gets information, and I feel like that's the biggest weapon in Scan's arsenal a lot of times, is just the ability to get out there and see what's going on so that he can know the perfect counter. But he hasn't seen any Arbiter tech yet, so this is going to be maybe a surprise.
He didn't see the Stargate either. He did see the relatively low gateway count. He sees the pylon wall, but he can't really confirm that there's a base there or not. And interestingly, with this Arbiter tech, you saw that he's used a lot of his scans already, so there's only 2 scans available on his comsats. So if we can see a stasis on a vessel here against the EMP, we might be able to see a really, really well-timed push here coming in from Arcneon. And a 4th base coming up there.
This is stasis, not recall, correct? I think I saw that.
I didn't actually see the upgrade coming in, so...
Yeah, it's stasis, not recall. I'm 90% sure about that. So, moving forward, I feel like Arcneon has made this kind of like Plasma, where you just try to bypass the map altogether. You're not really playing to the map. You're saying, look, there's some walls in my way. Let's keep that from being an issue. So he's dropped. He's done this Arbiter tech move, and I want to see where he's actually going to go for this. There is only 1 turret in the main, so it's not like there's really any defense against this recall.
Yeah, I mean, recall I don't think is the best choice. He knows that Scan is still on 2 base. He's got pretty much vision over every other base on the map, minus the one in the top right. And he's got DTs sort of skulking around in the middle, so he knows Scan isn't moving out. He knows he's not got a 3rd base. So realistically, all of the units of Scan are either going to be in his main or his natural. Now, Scan is going to start to push forward a little bit. He does need to try and secure a 3rd base soon. He is going up to his 2-1 upgrade, so this is a little bit of a timer for him. He's doing pretty well in terms of macro. He's quite close to sort of getting up there to max around 13-14 minutes, as long as he continues his production. And it's going to be really down to how Arcneon actually deals with this push, because I know you said it's quite big and open, but it's only open if you can kind of come in from 2 angles, and currently Arcneon's all in one place, and he doesn't have that many zealots.
Yeah, no, his zealot count is way light. Oh, where's the stasis? He's got to grab that. Oh no, it's not going to come through in time. Oh, he got it. Just barely, that last second. Wow.
There we go. Looks like Arcneon's going to push forward. Does get repelled for the time being. Takes out a good number of the Vultures, though, which is going to mean any form of Zealot reinforcements are going to be able to deal with pretty much everything that's going on. Looks like my RAM and CPU are struggling a little bit here as my game is shuddering, but...
Yeah, mine is too, so it's not just you, Kicks. I don't know what's going on here, but okay. All right, we've spun it back up again. Wow. Okay, so this is 2-base Terran versus 3-base versus 4-base Protoss. So you might imagine that the Arcneon machine is really kicking into high gear. The only problem is that anytime you're not able to like stop a Terran, the forces of inevitability really do play against you. And we're about to hit that 2-1 timing that's just so devastating. Your units just turn into Play-Doh. I don't know. They're just made out of like polystyrene. I think that's what you guys call it. It's very flimsy as a Protoss player, especially if you have this low Zealot count. But thankfully, Arcneon's pumped out like 2-3 rounds of Zealots by now, and he's replenished that quite a bit. So the Dragoons are going to tank up the first round of siege tank hits, and then the Zealots are getting right on top. Nice D-Matrix there, and I don't know if there's going to be enough here.
Back, but yeah, there doesn't seem to be that many units from Arcneon. He spent a lot of his money on probes, a lot of his money on sort of things that aren't attacking units. And this is when it starts to become a problem. The 2-1 push is starting to hit its stride. He's going to be able to get in between the 4th and the natural of Arcneon as well, so there's going to be no way, no recompense, and no way of defending. Scan's just going to push towards the natural here.
Yeah, and this is, I don't know if you want to call this the Scan, but this is just where he is so good at macro off 2 bases that you can't stop his first push. It really does take quite a bit to stop this first push. And, I mean, this is what Arcneon's going to try to do. Maybe he can pick off a tank here or there, but look, there's just so much blue goo everywhere. He's trying to mine drag. Oh, that was about to be big, but there's just, the tank line is so deep here. It's just impossible to move through here with Protoss forces. You need a bunch of stasis, a bunch of arbiters, and he doesn't have any of that.
Yeah, Scan did a really good job of getting those Goliaths up super quickly, dealing with those really early arbiters, and you can see all of the blue goo here just completely blocking Arcneon from leaving his base. We've got another load of another round of Zealots coming in, but there's a lot of Vultures still. He's lost his natural. He does still have 3 bases, but you can see Scan is taking the other main now. He knows he's in a good position. The Vulture's going over the cannon in the 3rd base. That's going to go down, and so are all the probes. And I mean, there's a nice Zealot bomb coming in behind here. That's going to take out a good number of these back tanks. But it's not really enough.
Nope. It is not. 130 to 100 supply, and it just keeps on dropping. What was a 4-base Protoss is now a 2-base Protoss for all intents and purposes, and this is just going to go from bad to worse as these continual mech reinforcements rally in. He's about to hit 3-2 upgrades on these mech units as well, and so, I mean, maybe it's the best stasis of his life, but there's just nothing underneath this Arbiter.
Yeah, all of the units going down to mines and the 2 tanks as well. A great, well-played game here by Scan, just completely splitting the map against Arcneon. The pylon's gone down, the cannon's gone down at the 4th base, the probes are going to go down as well, and Arcneon's doing his best to hold on. Yes, he's keeping the forces away from his main, but the main's not the important thing anymore. It's going to be all of your mining going, and GG! Arcneon taps out, and Scan takes game number 2.
Wow. I mean, Scan, just what can you say? That was really, really well played. I think it did take him a little bit to figure out the map, but once he had it kind of mapped out, he's like, okay, well, you know, the same thing works on this map as works on every other map. Why are you shrouded in darkness, Kix?
Because it's dark outside, and when I actually go for a little break, I'm going to turn on my lights. But I still don't have any curtains, so I'm going to have they're getting put up tomorrow. So I'm going to have to like tape some boxes to the window. So I'll just be a few minutes, but we'll be back with game number 3. It's going to be on Holy World SE, and it's going to be between Kamizerg and Noob. So see you guys in just a couple of minutes. guys, and welcome back. Just like magic, I have light. I am finally in the light of the world, basically. That was it.
Yeah.
And I just want to shout out to
Kix learned how to make fire during the break, so he lit one. He's got a pile of sticks burning right behind the camera.
Yeah, it's a really like low-key way of lighting, but I like to be cool, you know. But I have those open flames. I just want to shout out to Kanenzi's idea of buying a painting of a prison door to put behind me as well. That'd actually be amazing, but alas, I can't do that for now, and also my desk may move in the next like month or so. So having a look at our next game, it's going to be Kamizerg versus Noob. Just to quickly introduce both of our players here, it's a good time to do that. We're starting off with the highest ranked player in the STPL. It's going to be Noob. I mean, Noob has been an absolute boss. He's got the highest ELO out of any single player. In his last 10 games, he's actually had more losses than Scan has. And he actually lose to Tempest? I don't remember that game, but that's
I also do not remember that game. Skeptical.
Maybe it was a walkover. It's very possible that was a walkover.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. That's what it was. Wow. Okay, Noob. Well, anyway, that game aside, he is actually a badass. He's also, you know, super best friends with I think it was it was like Noob and Spire and maybe one other of the players who like went around to the ACS qualifiers together. So kind of cool that they are both showing up here in SouL's lineup. Like you said, they're absolutely two of the best players out there. And so for Noob, I mean, it's just kind of hard to get any better than this. 85% win ratio. He's won on basically all the weirdest maps. And so I can't imagine him having too difficult of a time here.
Yeah, now, one thing, his opponent is going to be for iRk. It's Kamizerg. Now Kamizerg's yellow matches the year, so maybe that gives him a little bit of an edge. Not too sure. But, I mean, he's done pretty well for himself. He's not been super active either. It's kind of fun to see some of these players. One of the things that Aggie was saying to me when he was doing all the lineups for the playoffs was he wanted to give kind of all of his players that have played before a chance to play again, and that's where Kamizerg comes into it. He was really active in the first couple of rounds back in sort of April, May last year. He disappeared for a while. I think they kind of they didn't replace him as such, but he got a little bit inactive. Jerry came back, so Jerry was kind of like the go-to Zerg that they would always send out. But this is week 1 in a best of 3 of best of 5 series, if that makes any sense. I've been thinking about how to explain how that works, and I just can't do it. So either way, I mean, this is our first week of the semi-finals with these two teams. So Kamizerg going to have a chance here to get a win on the board. He's going to have to win if he wants iRk to at least have their dream alive in week 1 here. But all is not lost if he doesn't. So let's see our third map of today. It's one of our more recent ones. It's Holy World SE. Okay, Holy World SE, one of my favorite maps in the map pool from round 4. It ended up being, other than in TVZ, relatively balanced. PvT, a little bit imbalanced, but we didn't have too many games on here. But ZVP was super balanced, 5 for 4. A really, really cool map. Obviously, the major map feature of this map is the pentagram of disruption webs, which means if you're moving through them on the map, you have to be a little bit careful because your units won't fire if they're under them. And also the infested command center. Well, it's not infested yet, but if Kamizerg wants to get there, it will be, because this map kind of was one of the major maps that made Zero famous. Obviously he's come back, he's kind of S-class now and he's beating everybody, but one of his most famous Pro League games in history was on Holy World SE, where he basically demolished a Protoss by just constantly killing him with with
Infested Terrans.
So
yeah, I think that Protoss was Cal, and this was when Cal was like super badass, and Zero just kind of stepped on him there. It was really fun. Really fun to watch. This is an older map, but it's been played very recently in STPL, so
yep.
Not only should you guys know it by now, but the players should know it by now. And yeah, there's basically only one thing to do on this map, and that is infest that central command center as quickly as possible, and then probably get out of the game because you sacrifice so much to get there. Or I think we have seen it, infested before. So as long as you get there, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and let's see if we can get there. There's still the chance of the 6-minute curse. It's going to be Noob versus Kamizerg here on game number 3. Okay, now starting us off in our top right-hand position, we do have the orange Zerg fighting for iRk. It's going to be Kamizerg.
And he is correct in his question there. His opponent is very Gosu, the highest elo player in STPL. In the green is Protoss. Playing for SouL, it's Noob.
I'm Noob. It's a great name. So many.
This is so wholesome. This is like some eye bleach chat for you. This is the opposite of every chat message that is ever sent in Brood War. Every once in a while you just get that guy that's having way too good a day, and he like wishes you like GLHF and hopes that you have happiness and a fulfilled life. Like for every one game that happens, there's 10,000 more where you get told exactly, how
bad you are. Just
well, among other things.
Yeah.
Yes. But this is one of the wholesome games. This is, what this feels like? This feels like a chat rush. If I were getting typed to this much, I would guarantee just like bunker every orifice of my base.
Okay, calling like entrances to your bases orifices is kind of actually quite worrying, but
technically correct there.
It is, but orifice is one of those words in the English language that you don't really hear very often, and it just kind of puts you on edge when you hear it. It doesn't sound right when it's said, but I mean we've got
maybe it puts you on edge, Kicks.
Yeah, I mean we've got an overpull here for Kamizerg. Noob is going to be going for a Forge Fast Expand. Hopefully I've cleared up a little bit of my CPU, although I do have a little bit of slow-mo going on with my camera movement. So I may need to restart the stream at some point, but hopefully we'll be good to go. Now it looks like we did have a pause for a slight period of time. Obviously we don't know how much it went on for, but hopefully that's not bugged the replay, because pauses, they're not good news.
We've had quite a few bugged replays.
Yeah.
It's actually so funny. I love casting bugged replays because it's just like nothing works like you would imagine. It's like stuff is just places and things happen, and I'm just like, wow, this is quite the experience now, isn't it? But yeah, hopefully, cross our fingers, it's not going to be there. Overpool opening is like, the most standard ZVP opener, so you don't really have to worry too much about that gas just now coming down as the expansion comes up. And we don't have the Probe Scout out just yet, but I think that's what's headed out on the map momentarily. Oh, actually, no, there it is. I completely neglected that. So yeah, both players scouting each other, at least for the meantime. And I don't actually think that there's going to be too many deviations early on, aside from just like your traditional Forge Expand. And I do want to see how many bases. Okay, yeah, there's the third coming up. So yeah, mission accomplished. I cast way too many games of pro players 3-hatch Hydraing themselves into an early grave. And I really hope that's not what we have here.
Yeah, I mean, the fact we've got 3 hatches, the third hatch is in a very aggressive position. Obviously, it's not in the most aggressive position. You have that base in kind of like the top left of the main.
Oh, yeah.
But it's in a decent spot. There's no gas there, so it's going to be a little bit harder if the game goes a little bit longer. But he obviously does have the option of going for the third gas base behind here as well. So all is not lost. Noob, by walling off the front, is actually going to be able to open up himself to getting 4 separate bases without needing to move out on the map. So this isn't the most important map to get map control on as Protoss, but obviously it will help. You obviously don't want to lose this probe. This probe has been live for a very, very long time already. Kamizerg not overreacting to it, not building too many lings, only just now adding the second couple, and going into a lair behind this.
Okay, so we should all be happy to see the lair. That probably means that we're going to have a couple more hatcheries coming down, at least in the near future. I don't think there's a world in which, you know, there's any sort of crazy muta play. Although I will say, at least from the stream games I've been watching, mutas are coming back a little bit more in ZVP. So usually if you catch the first Corsair, that's kind of what triggers that. But find out what happens once this lair finishes. Because I'm guessing we're just going to see more hatcheries and a bigger macro focus out of Kamizerg.
Yeah, I mean, one good thing that can actually be incredibly good on this map is actually lurker drops, so maybe useful to keep an eye out for that. There is obviously a lot of droppable locations. You can see one in the natural here as well. Looks like Noob is playing very, very standard behind this, going into his Stargate first. Not going to skip Corsair because he knows how dangerous that is. He saw the fact that there was a lair coming up. He did see no second gas in the natural, so I don't think it's going to be a mute build as yet. This is likely just going to be for Scourge to try and catch that first Corsair. And I mean, it looks like we're getting into a little bit of a macro game, which is always good to see.
And Kamizerg has built nothing but drones. Like I'm super serial here. He built like 6 lings, and that's it. He literally has only 6 lings to his name.
Wow, he's actually almost saturated at all of his bases as well now.
This is a little stupid. Like he would lose to literally anything if a cannon walked across the main. I'm excited here. So the Spire's about to finish, but it's not like timed with the hatcheries or anything, so I'm not sure exactly what was going on there. I expect we're just going to see a normal 5-hatch Hydra kind of style, but he could just go for some sort of mass muta if he's able to deal with these Corsairs early. The first Corsair really does kind of dictate a lot of kind of what happens to the game. If you can kill that off with Scourge, then either you can do something secretive because your opponent won't have the scouting information he's used to, or you can go for mutas because you'll be able to build an air army faster than he will.
Yeah. Looks like we are going to see that for the Corsair. For Scourge getting out here, going to be able to follow this Corsair away. Looks like Kamizerg's going to try and cut it off at the pass if he can. And if he can get this, it's going to be a massive map. Oh, this is going to be close.
Oh no! Scourge are the dumbest unit in the game. Scourge are the worst. I can't even believe that they exist. It's almost too bad to be real. Oh my goodness, that's so painful. He had the perfect cutoff there. And the Scourge was just like, what if I just didn't do anything? How about that?
Now the problem is he built those 4 Scourge, but he doesn't actually have anything on the ground, and there's a good number of Zealots coming across the map. This could be the 6-minute curse kicking in, because with no ground army, with nothing, like there's no even stacked defense, he overbuilt drones. And oh my god, he's actually going to lose his Hydra Den, but lots of lings are coming out, but is it going to be enough?
He could literally focus that down. He's trying to glitch the drones through, but I don't think he's actually glitching out any of those Zealots. There are a ton of lings coming through, and I think just barely he will have been greedy enough to be able to pump out the lings that he needed. The drones are actually really helping out quite a bit, but he needs to save this den. Thankfully, speed completed before it went down. Otherwise, this would be a total tragedy. But the Zealots are still alive for the most part, so it's going to take another round of lings to clean this up.
Yeah, he needs Hydras though. I mean, Hydras obviously against speedlots are not the best, but look how quickly the lings are dying. He's going to lose his Hydra Den, and with no Hydra Den, there's no Hydralisk, no possible lurkers. And there's still Zealots just coming across one by one to join this force.
Yeah, he sent the lings in like one by one instead of bringing them all in at the same time. And this, the Zealot micro is actually impeccable from Noob. So let's just not get it twisted. This is going to be a mass muta build, which is, I think, maybe half a reaction to losing that Hydra Den, but also half the intention. But like Kamizerg went so greedy, like just insanely greedy, and so he deserved to get punished a little bit there. I actually don't think he got punished quite as hard. He's got 3 fully saturated bases here.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to have to be careful. This DT It's going to be dangerous. Now, the good thing is he is able to get sunken colonies up now. He's got a couple of overlords there. And the same can be said at his third as well. So the Muta's going to fly in. There is an Archon here. Can it get a shot off? No, it can't. But those Zealots, I was checking the kills on those before. And they killed so many Lings, but not enough drones went down. So Kamizerg is still actually in a good position.
He's building 14 drones right now. What? He literally has 14 drones in production.
He doesn't even need them. He's got so many drones already.
What do you do? Distance mining to the moon? Like, where do you even put? Like, does he have no other hotkeys? Did he accidentally bind his Z key to the D key?
I don't know, but I mean, I guess he thinks, well, Lings aren't going to help me too much.
Is he sunken rushing or something? Like, where do you even put that many drones? Like, does the map editor actually have enough sprites to draw that many drones? I don't know, Kix.
I don't know, but this is going to be a dangerous moment in this game. The Muteless heading out, trying to do some damage on the incoming Protoss forces, but they're going to have to be very careful now. There's a good number of Corsair, a couple of Archons with this as well. And this, I mean, this is really dangerous. He's got so many drones, but still not that many sunken colonies. Some Hydras finally coming in. But could this be a little bit too much damage on this third base? There's 3 hatcheries here.
I'm so confused. Like, this is what we call, like, crazy Zerg. Because, I don't know.
This is
like,
the Richie Rich Zerg build.
I guess so, for sure. I mean, finally, like, a bunch of Hydras are coming out, but, like, imagine if every one of these drones were Hydras. Well, he might still die, but, yeah, this is just total disaster. I'm so confused here. Kamizerg, like, literally only built drones and then left the game. That's, like, an accurate description of what just happened before our eyes.
Well, obviously, that was a little bit disappointing. Kamizerg definitely trying to learn a lot from his teammate Norgrim. When we saw Norgrim play recently, he did a similar sort of thing where he just kind of droned so hard. But the difference is he was playing on Fortress SE and he hit the base in the top corner, so there was no ground units that could get to it. Now, when you have that many drones and not that much sunken, or not that many, like, stacked defense, I'm kind of confused at what was going on there, but
yeah.
You know what? He put up a decent fight. He went to 10 minutes against Noob, which isn't an easy feat. Like, it's not... He survived the... Like, I thought the Zealots were just going to win the game as well, and he managed to survive, so well played.
Well, I mean, played.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was actually very, good reaction by Noob to say, okay, well, what are we doing here? Let's make sure to stay safe. Got a lot of damage done with the Zealots. The Archon Corsair just, like, mows through everything.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine Noob was not a little bit confused to run across the map and find that, you know?
Yeah.
Yikes. So that's going to be a 3-0 for SouL, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. We have one final game, just because it is the STPL and we show them all. And I don't want to stop people from being able to see DeWalt versus Bjorn, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh.
So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Less RNG.
Our 4th game. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here with game number 4 between SouL and iRk. SouL have taken the first victory in the semi-finals. They are going to have to play another series against iRk and win that if they want to get through to the grand finals. It is a best of 3, best of 5 situation, not that that's really easy to explain. But if you check out the STPL TV Twitter, there's a pretty cool graphic that sort of explains how it all works, way better than I can in words. So we're getting here with our 4th game. It's going to be BUIL versus SouL, and it's going to be 6. So let's actually have a look at both of our players, starting with the one, the only, it's BUIL.
Easily amused, huh?
Huge thanks, Machine, for the Twitch Prime sub, Matt. Good to see you here. And now, Rapid, do you want to explain a little bit about BUIL?
Okay, so BUIL is a badass. He was one of the 4 finalists of the ACS tournament, which is the predecessor to the ASL. So basically, there's this tournament for amateur players, and if you win it, then you get a spot in the round of 24 of ASL. Really love what Afrika has been doing with this, and to give a seed to one of these amateur players is a really big deal. Yeah. So BUIL was one of those players. He's one of the 4 top amateur players in this tournament, and unfortunately he lost to Olympus in the first round, so a little bit of a heartbreaker there. But in the end, it's actually really sick to see him still playing, because he is one of the only amateur players to have qualified for a major offline Brood War tournament like ASL. So just sick talent. You can see just by some of the players that he's beaten. I mean, if he can take a game off Cadenzi, that basically means, you know, he's ready for the pro leagues. So excited to see if he can also win his game here today.
Yeah, and just one thing to add as well, not only did he qualify for ASL, he did it twice in a row. So that's no mean feat. Yeah. The qualifiers are ridiculous. He obviously didn't make it through ACS, but he still has the qualifiers coming up next weekend as well to try and make it in. So can he make it for a 3rd time? Not too sure, but let's have a look at his opponent. Equally as storied, maybe not so much in Korea, but he has recently spent a little bit of time in Korea, did a lot of training there, actually played against, played a few spot matches against different players. I saw the one who played against Kanata. That was really cool. It's going to be DeWalt. Now, DeWalt is, he's a Russian player, sorry. I keep getting mixed up with Bonus for some reason, but he's absolutely top of his game. He's done incredibly well all throughout the STPL. Recently, he's been struggling a little bit in other tournaments. He's kind of been in a little bit of a slump since he got back from Korea, but he's starting to regain his footing. He's beat some incredible players. He's still got a lot of spirit and a lot of heart. He plays so much, and just the sheer amazement of the results he gets always makes me happy. So really one of the foreign success stories of Brood War of recent times, obviously Yonzerg being the other one. But let's have a look at the 3rd map that we're going to, the 4th map that we're going to be heading into. We're sort of looping back on ourselves once again. This is actually going to be the map that won the sort of fan vote I did. It's going to be Polaris Rhapsody. So Polaris Rhapsody is a 2-player map. It does originate back from in 2009. There was some amazing games in Pro League, and there's also a lot of really amazing games on here in the STPL. It was used back in, I think this was also a round 1 map as well. So we've had a lot of round 1 maps today, but we saw some really cool TVPs here. I mean, EHS versus Favorite was a really good game. I can't remember most of them because, please forgive me, they were over a year ago at this point, but it's nice to see it back.
Yeah, it's a pretty iconic map. I just think just the structure of it is really unique. You've got kind of these pocket bases on the side that are really entrenched, but also very close to your opponent or far by ground if you want to take them yourself. You got the corner bases, I think, which are a safe option, but once again they're very far away from your main. So I don't know. I really do like this. There's a little bit of everything on this map. I think the 12 and 6 are mineral only bases, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, but the corner bases are double gas, so that's
Yeah.
a really kind of cool thing.
Double gas is kind of like the major feature of this map. Obviously, it makes it very difficult to move through the middle with those double bridges. When I say double bridges, they're kind of single bridges, but quite long as well. So that's going to benefit Biol a little bit because it makes it very difficult for Protoss to engage on this map. Terran timing attacks are very, very good on this map, but obviously carriers are incredible on this map. And let's see exactly what we're going to see in this game. Obviously, I want to hype it up, but there's always a chance the game will end in 6 minutes, so I always feel like hyping it up could be a bad thing. So without further ado, let's get into the fourth game, and let's get started with Biol versus DeWalt. Okay, starting us off in the top left-hand position, we do have the purple Terran. No, the purple Protoss even. I'm staring at probes and forgot my races. Starting for iRk, it's DeWalt.
That's right, and his opponent, one of the best Terran players in the world. This is Biol, the bottom right.
Now, one thing to point out just for chat is, okay, we've already done the latency, it just seems to be a little bit laggy, but that should be fine. One thing to point out for the chat as well is Biol isn't unbeatable. In the last finals he played in, which was SouL versus NetWars, Yeti, one of the best Protoss players in the STPL, did take a macro game off of Biol. It was like a 40-minute game. There was carriers, arbiters, lots of tanks and Goliaths and vultures as well, and Yeti won. So even in these really high pressure situations, Biol can lose a game. So I mean, if there's someone in the foreign scene that can do it, it's gonna be DeWalt.
For sure. DeWalt's the truth. Like, don't get it twisted. This guy is legit, actually amazing. Capable of taking games off of some of the best South Korean players in the world. He's come out here to Korea. He's trained. I think he got up to like 2450 ELO, like just insanity high, like way super high. So DeWalt has really kind of this new breed of foreigner is doing something that a lot of kind of previously was kind of thought to be impossible. Like the idea that a Korean pro gamer would lose a game to a non-Korean player was just ludicrous. It's happened like a handful of times just in all time in tournaments. So this is it's a truly remarkable thing. But you know, Biol's equally as impressive because previous to his qualification, I think he was the first one of the first, if not the first, non-professional player to qualify for an offline Star League. So both of these players are actually real forerunners.
Yeah, I mean, DeWalt doing a really, really good job denying the barracks for a very long time now. That's actually a really big deal. And
yeah,
I mean, Biol's going for a command center after a barracks here. So getting that barracks up as soon as possible was so important. And now he's got no Marine. So eventually, there's going to be no Zealot at least for the time being. So that's one benefit. But he's just being so annoying with this probe.
Oh, he's gonna kill the SCV? No way! Oh my god, that's disgusting. Oh, what a gross unit the probe is. How do you tuck yourself in at night knowing that you've used a probe to do dirty things to your ugh, gross. That's just wow. So that's how good DeWalt is, guys.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at like the pro level Terrans, and Biol is definitely up there. One of the things that amazes me is watching their SCV control, and to see them losing an SCV is so big, like especially early in the game. Like you saw Biol, he pulled a second probe, he pulled a second SCV even, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna kill the probe, and then DeWalt manages to juke out of that, and Biol's like, well, he's not gonna come back, he's got no health, it's fine. And then no, the probe comes back and kills the SCV, so that's something. We do have a little bit of slow-mo going on due to my CPU being a little bit funny, so that's kind of for, I'm just going to say it's for dramatic effect here, guys, is that SCV is going to get out of the base.
Yeah, this is in the nature documentary, or like in Jurassic Park, where you get the big like sweeping overview of the park, and you see all the little brachiosauruses like playing around, even though they're fake dinosaurs that never existed. You know, it's an epic effect that we're trying to give you, except now it's really epic and really slow. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. We have high latency on and everything. So,
this is my PC being fun.
Yeah, this is the real slow-mo. I want to watch a Dragoon fire in slow motion. Oh boy.
Okay. Like, I'm just gonna be semi-alt-tabbed, so I do apologize for missing anything. I'm gonna follow this SCV. You know what, might be a good idea if I just quickly pause the game. I mean, the weird thing is, my CPU usage and RAM isn't actually that high right now, so I think it's maybe just the game being funny. Which is just even weirder.
Yeah, no, this is actually really weird. It looks like it's back to being okay now. It's
not slow. We just drink too much. That's actually, that's kind of funny.
That's right. This is normal speed, guys. I don't know what you're talking about. We just gaslight chat into believing that it's them that's slow, not us. Wow.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys all get faster computers simultaneously?
Yes.
If your computers were faster, you could watch this.
Works on my machine, just saying.
So evil, Kicks.
Yeah, we've got the bunker up. Obviously the Dragoons are going to do their annoying Dragoon thing where they'll just sit there forever. We do have DeWalt putting down a little bit of sneaky pylon in the bottom left here. Obviously Proxy Reaver is incredibly strong on this map. Very difficult to kind of defend all the airways in. It's reminiscent in a way of Pathfinder, but obviously Pathfinder's kind of taken to the extreme of airspace. But
yeah.
The good thing is the game's running at the right speed now. After this as well, obviously this is the 4th game of SouL versus iRk, but we have NetWars versus WHITECLAN coming up after this game as well, so that should be pretty sick. Now, Templar Archives coming in, so, oh my god, is he actually... Yeah, he's just going to proxy 4-gate, well he's proxy 2-gating with the Templar Archives as well, so he's going to go for a big bust.
Wow, okay, so this is awesome. I actually really love seeing this. It's kind of weird that, you know, you see it particularly here, and also with an extra Nexus. Yeah, we're really going like massive gateways here. Wait, is it really? Okay, yeah, sorry, I didn't scroll down all the way.
Yeah.
But yes, we are 4-gating our way to victory and great justice. There's DTs on the way. This is just going to be just, insanity. This is everything that Terran players hate to deal with. DeWalt is getting down and dirty with this build, and I love it.
Yeah, now, obviously, he can't pull it back from 0-3 in a best of 5, but he is here to kind of give a little bit of hope to his team as well, because they have another week of semi-finals coming up as well, and if iRk can win that one, they will go into an ace match, which is another best of 5, so a very important game for them, just to kind of make it so they don't give up. Losing 4-0 is really a huge mental toll on these players. Now we are going to have a DT coming in. There's actually a scan up, but there's only 2 scans per CC, and if this DT gets up into the main, there's no units back there, and Bjol hasn't noticed.
Yeah, you can also just position the DTs over the scanners and like 3-shot it, so
oh my god.
I think basically this is terrible. This is the worst. So he's got 2 scans. There's the first one.
Okay.
And he's dead. Wow, this is really travesty.
Well, he's not dead yet because the DTs can't do all that much damage, but the scanners, they're running out of energy, so there's still 2 scans left. But this isn't the problem, it's the units coming in from the 4-gate. Wow. It's so good, I'm losing my voice. Here we go.
Yeah, Death by Brood War, the Kick story. There's just DTs everywhere. He actually is not even worrying about targeting down the scanner because he has 7 DT. Wait, is it 7? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DTs.
And that DT is still alive in the main. It's got 5 kills. It hasn't managed to take out the scanner or anything. But more and more units are going down. DeWalt's done it. It's just a shame he couldn't come out a little bit earlier to do this. But just the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid. But there we go, another scan going on in the main. The DTs have been cleaned up. More Dragoons are on the way. No, in fact, it's more DTs. There's 3 DTs in the main, Rapid.
Yeah, I think there's a total of 5 DTs out on the map right now. Just absolutely
he's got
insanity.
no scans. This is it.
He's
he can't see the DTs anymore.
Fighting straight up. Yeah, the reason you don't kill scanners is because it's faster to build the scanner than it is to regen the energy on it.
Yeah.
So you just leave them up because they're totally worthless once they scan, basically. The 3 DTs chasing the tank around is just hilarious here. And that's it, GG! DeWalt kills one of the best Terran players in the world. I'm going to stick by that.
Yeah, I mean, he is.
What a badass. Like, when DeWalt gets down and dirty, you know he's got... Like, DeWalt's like a super nice guy. Like, very, very cool guy, but... when he gets down and dirty with it, he makes that same face that Kix makes when he knows that he gets BM'd early on in the game, and then he like makes a sick comeback. Maybe he does like a vulture drop or something, and he gets that greater than capital D face.
Yeah.
That's what DeWalt's got on right now.
I mean, the best thing is, and I guess this is kind of funny if you sort of know what happened before, but back in round 3 on Shin Peaks of Baekdu,
oh yeah,
pretty much Scan lost a favorite going mass DTs as well. Maybe that's the new meta, guys. Just mass DT against Terran, and you'll kill him. That's it. I mean, he had 4 scans, and it just wasn't enough. There was just way too many DTs.
Yeah, that was a minor tragedy there of the Protoss sort. So somewhere you can, if you listen in the distance, you can hear Future is scribbling down that build order like as fast as he can, ready to go get those ladder points. What a strong game there by DeWalt. Unfortunately, it didn't come in fast enough, but it's still a win on the board, so it's not like it's a 4-0 sweep. It shows you that iRk absolutely have what it takes to win these games, to take games off of a SouL. So hopefully the next time they play as part of this best of 3 of best of 5s, they'll be able to maybe take it back and take us to an ace best of 5, which will also go to an ace match. We could have double ace matches here.
Yeah, I mean, we can't have triple ace matches now, but you know what? Looking at it, let's actually have a quick look at the results from this series. Obviously, after this, we've got WHITECLAN versus NetWars as well. But SouL take the first win here. In the semi-finals. They're actually going to take the first win over iRk and put themselves to 1-0 against iRk in series. So Spire took down SPX. That was a little bit of a sad game, really. SPX wasn't really ready for what was coming up after that, but just imagine if those vultures had got in. We would be looking at an ace match situation right now. That's the kind of thing that can happen in a team league, and just why it's so important that every game goes the best it can. Scan took down Arkneon in Pathfinder. Arkneon just played super greedy. Unfortunately, Scan, rather than building SCVs, built units and then kind of just killed him. Noob took down Kamiza. Kamiza kind of had the DT stuck down, built a lot of drones, but unfortunately was killed by the eventual push by Noob. And then DeWalt just taking out Beal with pretty much nothing but DTs.
Yeah, we've had some very polarizing games. SPX kind of died there, but I think Kamezerg just building nothing but drones was the most kind of question mark game for me. I really like that we ended on a very cool note there with just the dirtiest Protoss play you could ever get. Congratulations to DeWalt for kind of putting one up there on the board. But yeah, congratulations more so to SouL for taking the first win of the finals of STPL. We're finally getting down to it, so you guys don't want to miss any of the games. And we're not even done for today, because coming up, we've got NetWars versus WHITECLAN, two of the other best teams in STPL, so you don't want to miss that either.
Yeah, so see you guys in just a few minutes when we're back. And just a little bit of an announcement. Unfortunately, NetWars, TrueTouch couldn't make his game, so we are going to be starting with a walkover victory here for TrueTouch. So it's going to be 1-0 for White to start off, but it's not a problem. It is a best of 3, a best of 5s. Apparently this is 5 now, but yeah, it's best of 3 or best of 5, so no matter what happens in the first series, both of our teams here have a chance to come back. But let's see you guys in a few minutes for our second series. just like you know, Future, the Blizzard launcher is having trouble. I saw a tweet from Blizzard US especially, where people are having trouble logging in, so it's a new issue that they're working on currently. past the bunker, but the SCV blocked by Famas, he is very, very good, and it looks like the Marines of Koget aren't going to get past. And GG!
That's it, GG, wow.
Boneth could only build a probe, but I hate to tell him. I mean, there's still a Reaver alive somehow. Ho does still have all of his drones, and GG! And the Naturals did manage to clean that up before too many probes go down. And Yeti has done it. They've done what iRk couldn't. They've put a win on the board. It's GG! But I think we've seen it again. Exactly at 6 minutes, these Hydras broke up the ramp, and GG! Because he didn't have any gas, doesn't have any tanks.
Yeah, Radley just dies here.
Yeah.
Wow.
GG.
That's it, GG. At this point, it is time to get out of the game. Wow, I did not expect this to be. Well, I mean, you were asking the questions like, well, you know, can any of NetWars players survive long enough to get Bonnet's chance to kind of come out, because he is kind of their star player, or at least one of them.
Yep.
Well, I think this is a pretty good way to start off. GG, Crush taps out.
Kingpin's valiantly holding on, but it's 1 meter against about 11, and 2 final Scourge come out. They don't do anything. GG! King Bonneth just has an overwhelming number of units, and it's just only going to continue to get worse.
Oh my god, he has 7 probes.
But yeah, this is just way too much damage. Bonneth with a great victory here. GG!
To get a third up. No, he's just going for it, and he kills the third base, all the hatcheries. Any unit that pops here is basically just going to die instantly. There's no detection. The overlords going down are so crazy that Ho has 60 supply because he had to remax a bunch of overlords, and now, oh my god, Bonneth!
Chamber before +1 attacks on. GG! Bonneth takes down Ho. Okay guys, welcome back. Sorry Rapid, I kind of threw you under the bus again. At least it wasn't that bad. I've done much worse, but that was just a short introduction to both of our teams for our second semi-final. It's WHITECLAN versus NetWars. Both of them incredibly good teams. Just to kind of go through a little bit of what we saw in that video, not obviously super in detail or whatever, but we're going to have a look at the sort of both the team stats. I mean, NetWars, they've come second twice, and they come third once. So they come second in round 2 and round 3. In round 2, they came the closest to anybody. I know there was only 2 teams that beat WHITECLAN or played against WHITECLAN in a final, but they were pretty much 3 for 2, and they were so close. Because the next game was going to be it may not have been a guaranteed win, but if they'd have won, they could have gone to an ace match. And then someone didn't turn up for their game, and it was a walkover, and it was completely, like, it was really disappointing. I remember, like, casting it with you and being super, like, not miffed as such, but, like, it was just such a massive hype killer. And I guess part of, like, True Touch missing his game as well is kind of the same thing here, but luckily enough, it's not the deciding game. So, we're starting here. I mean, NetWars, they've won like almost the majority of the series they've played in. They're actually 1-1 against WHITECLAN. They may have lost in the finals in round 2, but they beat them in round 4. So they've had their revenge. This is going to be kind of the deciding match for both of these teams, and what better place to do it in the semi-finals, where whoever wins this series of matches will be going into the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, there's no second chances. So like, if you got to play a game, or if you have to pick one game to play, it's going to be like these ones. So, man, really sucks to not have True Touch here. He's the guy, right?
Yeah.
The BSL, I mean, every Have At You or Defiler Cup or like whatever it is that he's playing in, like he's just so incredibly strong. So cannot stress enough the hit that is to NetWars, coming up against one of the strongest teams in STPL.
Yeah, I mean, WHITECLAN, they've been around since the very beginning. They haven't done as amazingly well as many people thought they would. Like, when they first signed up, people were like, okay, no one's ever going to beat WHITECLAN. But they've lost. They've only won 24, only won 24 of their series they've played.
Yeah, tell me more.
And, I mean, they won 2 rounds. Along with SouL, they're one of the kings of STPL. So, one of the best teams. It's great to see them in this in these semi-finals. I mean, after they won 2 rounds, it was kind of guaranteed that they'd be here. But seeing them up against NetWars, one of the teams that's given them really, really close games in the past. And I mean, NetWars destroyed WHITECLAN when they met in round 4. And I say destroyed, they went to an ace match where Bonneth won 2 games in a row. But those games he won, he destroyed them. And what a better way to start this semi-final than with a Bonneth game. It's going to be, I mean, let's actually have a look at the rosters. So, making sure I'm clicking the right button here. Just need to make sure we're there, but obviously we're skipping True Touch versus Gecko. WHITECLAN are going to start with a 1-0 victory, unfortunately. But we're going to start with Bonneth versus YesMan. Now, many of you may not know who YesMan is. We'll go into that a little bit later. We're going to go into a TVZ between Ziggy and Ho, and then we're going to have a PVT between Yeti and FamSE. And as I said before, Yeti was like he was the acting captain in round 3 for NetWars. He's done an incredible job. For a very long time, he was actually the highest ranked player in the STPL. That was before we switched to ELO. But he took down Buell in the semi-finals they last played in against SouL. So if we can get to a game 4, Yeti is certainly in a position to take us into an ace match. Obviously, Bonneth at least is going to have to win his game here. Ziggy could have a little bit more of a problem. Ziggy is actually someone who plays both StarCraft 2 and StarCraft 1. He's very active in both communities at the moment, which is kind of cool to see. But YesMan, Ho, and FamSE, they are 3 of the strongest players that White have been sending out in the STPL so far.
Yeah, for sure. And Ho, FamSE, just like, I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion because obviously NetWars are pretty good, but you know, that final game, I think game 4 has to be our key match because, like,
yeah.
I mean, Yeti and FamSE just like, ugh, get me in that game as fast as possible, which means we have to get into the first game as fast as possible. Kicks.
Yeah, so let's actually introduce both of our first 2 players here. Starting us off is going to be the Polish powerhouse, one of the best foreign players of modern times. It's Bonneth. It's kind of funny how we've gone from DeWalt straight into Bonneth. I mean, both of them are without a doubt the 2 strongest foreign Protoss players, maybe of even the last like 15 years or so. You have to go back a very long time to find 2 Protoss players as strong as these 2, and just a great player overall. He's not had the best showing in STPL. His ELO isn't super high, his win ratio isn't super high either, but just outside of the STPL, he's just absolutely insane.
Yes, I don't think that there's anybody that could take anything away from Bonneth's insane track record. He's not always, he can have some weird inconsistency issues where he just like goes up against a player he absolutely should beat and then loses. But I think that happens to everybody at some point. So it's not like he's a guaranteed shoo-in, but he is basically the best a man can get outside of Just for Men hair gel.
I mean, the major thing is Bonneth, like, the games he's lost have mainly been PvZ. Like, his Protoss versus Zerg in 2017, I'd say that it was probably his best matchup. But when people started to realize what Bonneth did, people just started killing him really early. Like, Jerry did it, Eon Zerg did it twice, where they just kind of push him super quick with links and he just dies. So, luckily enough, this is going to be a PvT. Bonneth's, like, without a doubt, his best matchup. He is a little bit of a one-trick pony, very reminiscent of someone like Stork, where he doesn't really ever go arbiters. Like, DeWalt is more likely to do that, but with Bonneth, you're pretty much guaranteed he's going to go into a carrier build, and maybe that'll play into YesMan's favor here. But obviously, if YesMan as a Korean player doesn't follow the foreign scene too much, he won't know about it. But I mean, look at YesMan's stats. He's got a 100% win rate, and he's not actually played in the SCPL since last year.
That's right. It's been a long time since he's been in STPL, so he's been able to dispatch Titans like Arcneon and Nyoken, but he hasn't really played against a player quite like Bonneth yet. So Bonneth is, like I said, the truth. So let's get into this game. I'm super excited to see what YesMan has to do. And honestly, man, if True Touch had the potential to win game 1, if Bonneth wins this game, that's 2-0 up. You know, there are worlds in which this is a crazy good spot for NetWars, but as is, YesMan has the opportunity to put WHITECLAN 2-0 up in the series.
Yeah, so let's actually introduce our first map of this series. It's going to be Pathfinder. So we actually saw a PvT on here before. Arkneon took on Scan and unfortunately fell to the power of Scan's macro. So it's going to be a tough game for Bonneth. This is actually 5 for 4 in favor of Terran right now. So I just can't really wait to get into the game. So let's start. It's Bonneth versus Yes Man, and it's on Pathfinder. Okay, and starting us off in the 12 o'clock position as the Teal Protoss, we do have the Polish powerhouse himself. It's Bonneth.
And his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner in the blue is Yes Man, or just Yes from WHITECLAN.
It's Yes Man. That's it. That was awful. Oh my god. Okay, well,
deep sigh.
PvT, we saw, I mean, I guess you'd call the last game we saw on this map in the previous semi-final and macro game. We obviously got past 2 bases for Protoss. I mean, Arkneon was already on 4 base by the time that the 2-1 push of Scan hit. But the problem is, he kind of went too hard into macro and didn't get nearly enough attacking units and kind of got pushed over by that 2-1 push. So, is Yes Man going to go for a similar style? Obviously, there are a good number of ways you can play PvT, or TVP even. Same goes for PvT as well. But Terrans, especially in Korea, seem to favor, like, at least recently, the more flash style. And it's going to be cool to see exactly what Yes Man's going to do.
So describe for our viewers what is the more flash style TVP.
So Flash is very macro orientated, so he'll sit on 2 bases if he needs to. He'll go up to 2-1 before taking a 3rd base. And then usually, because Flash is Flash, he'll just have so many units off of 2 bases that the 2-1 push kills the opponent. Now, 2-1 is definitely the standard way of playing TVP. There are other ways of playing as well. You can go into a starport super early, go for a very quick dropship, and that's certainly, especially on this map, not a bad choice. There's a lot of airspace around the mains, and the Wraith is really going to help you against any possible robo builds, which is something that Bonneth really likes to do.
Yeah, Bonneth is a robo boy. Bonneth is like basically cybernetic at this point. He builds a robotics, he builds a Reaver, and he ruins your day. But yeah, you're right. The Wraith is a super great option against any sort of shuttle play. And if you can strand the Reaver out there on the map, then it's basically useless. So yeah, absolutely a great choice here versus Bonneth, because you also know that Bonneth is not going to push you early. Like, DeWalt will get down and dirty with these crazy early rushes. But Bonneth is not necessarily that dynamic. He definitely enjoys having a setup time.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that could be useful going into this game to know is, I was speaking to Gyro before he was sending the lineups in. Gyro is the clan leader at White, in case you don't know who he is. And one of the things he said to me, his English isn't super good, but he does have a decent grasp of English, is he said, we're not going to hold back. Now, WHITECLAN sometimes, I know you even said this before, they have a big roster, and especially in rounds 3 and 4, they didn't really send their best roster all the time. And when they got into the semi-finals, Gyro was like, we're not going to hold back, and sending Yes Man, Famasi, and Ho, that's a really big indication that they're taking this game really seriously. They want to win this. And, I mean, can Yes stand up against Bonneth?
Well, he's walled at the top of the ramp, so he's going to be pretty safe against these early Zealots and Dragoons coming out. Yeah, you've got a high ground main, so nothing to worry about there. But yeah, with a starport coming up here, we are going to get into that 1-1-1, and I honestly just think that Bonneth is kind of playing into his hands here, because we are probably going to see at least some sort of robo play. Although it does look like, you know, he's going Citadel, so you could see a normal. Well, I guess as normal as like, you know, DTs get. What was the SouL doing?
It's trying to attack the Marines, but it can't get there.
Oh my goodness, are both of these units totally glitched? Oh my gosh. Thankfully, Bonnet realized it. That was precious seconds.
Now, interestingly, we're seeing mines first here from Yes. Now, this is going to play into the fact he's got the drop coming. This Marine is obviously going to push away the units with the tank. It's a little bit of forced mining time. But one of the big things about this game that's kind of important to note, wow, it's actually going to be Templar Archives. He's going into DT drop. Oh,
wow,
wait, maybe
yeah,
not DT drop, sorry, there's no Robo Bay.
Yeah, so there's, or no Robo, but
yeah Robo,
there's just going to be DTs out here. I saw that and I was like, okay, are you going to like do some like legs build? But like 99% of the time, if that's a number, you know, you are just going to go DTs off of the early Citadel. So, all right, this is going to be our first DT out very, very quickly. But at the same time, I don't know what your best. Oh, no way he snipes the tank. That would be insane. So he does force it to pull back. There's no siege mode yet. So with that tank being so low, he's going to be forced to pull SCVs, repair that, because this is the only way. Oh my God, he's two hits away from losing that tank.
Yeah, if he loses,
the tank has to run away.
Yeah, but he's running away. He's going to lose his wall. The wall's going to go down. The mines are coming up. Nice snipe.
The mines. Oh my God, he got one of the mines. He's going to get the second mine, but there's still one of the mines that preciously comes down. But because it's 1 HP,
the vultures are going down
one-shot it. Yeah, the first DT's out. It's on the way.
Yeah,
but it actually got hit by a mine, so it's lost its shields and HP.
Oh, there's a vulture in the main, though. There's no defense back in this main. The probe's been pulled. But this vulture could micro-around for days. This is going to be so important. How much damage is Yes going to be able to do? That drop obviously coming in. I think that was a drop. No, the dropship's still back at the base. So this is just a lone vulture running his way through. And he's already got 3 kills.
Heartbreaking. Oh, Bonnet. He's got to pull all the Dragoons back to deal with this. He's going to lose so many
Oh, no,
workers.
there's a mine on the top of the ramp.
Okay,
that's lucky.
Well, wow, he didn't trigger it. But I still can't believe that vulture got in. That's tragic. And now this DT at the front, it's like, well, what are you doing? Like, there's no way this DT can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about the DT is it is going to stop him pretty much taking a base or an expansion for a very, very long time. He's going to have to kind of slow push down his ramp with the turret, which is kind of annoying, but here is the vulture drop coming in. There is that tank here. Oh, the mine going off on the Dragoon, not managing to take down the... Oh, this is going to be dangerous, all the probes! Okay, that was lucky.
Man, that's just the tragic thing of nightmares.
Oh,
nice
sniping
stepping though on those Dragoons. Yeah, those are really good. Oh, doesn't get the last one though. Almost lost like 2 Dragoons, but you know, mission accomplished. He clears out those vultures again, and the drop gets away with the tank. So I mean, actually, there is still 1 vulture here. This is crazy. He's doing a decent job with the stutter step micro, but that
was so close.
This is very, very close. These vultures have killed just metric tons within E probes. There's like so little mining compared to what there should be with 2 saturated bases.
Now you can see the vulture trying to take out the DT here at the natural. DT actually sniping that final mine, just being a little bit of a pain. The vulture's not going to be able to do more damage here. Obviously the tank does have the chance of coming back in. Bonnet is still only on 1 gateway at the moment, and that's going to be a massive problem because this tank's going to go for a siege drop behind the natural, using the terrain of the map to his advantage, but the probes have already been pulled away.
Yeah, I mean, I guess congratulations, you pulled your probes in time because you knew they were going to die over and over again. The downside is that your probes have died over and over again, and the pressure on Bonnet here is just massive. So I don't know how he's going to break out of this, Kix.
It's going to be very, very difficult. I mean, he can realistically afford to lose the Nexus. It's only 400 minerals. He's kept his probe production up in the main, so he's got a lot of probes right now. Obviously, he is going to want to kill those as soon as humanly possible, but he's going to have to do something about this soon. Now, the DT still blocking that natural command center. Doesn't want to use a scan on it. There we go, scan finally going down. So he is going to be able to expand, but that's very, very late for Terran.
Yeah, this is late, but I think the damage that's being done here is... Yeah, he got the tank, but I mean, at what cost, right? He lost all of his Dragoons, so, well, not all of them, there's like 2 or 3. But actually sniping this dropship would be huge. Oh my goodness, he is going to get the dropship. Both the vultures get out, so he's going to lose some probes here. But I mean, eventually they'll get picked off because the obs is out now. So this is really good by Boneth. He is getting himself back into this game in a big way. Yeah,
the way Boneth is dealing with all of this pressure so well, he was actually sending a lot of his Dragoons into Vulture, all of his probes. Oh! Oh god, that could have been close. Oh, nice snipe on the Vulture by the probe. But yeah, that's...
Just like the tragedy that could happen here is so massive. Even just that mine hitting the Dragoon at the front, like all of this could have killed Infinity probes and just ended the game by itself. But thankfully, Boneth's got a little bit of luck on his side.
Yeah, this is certainly going well for Boneth, but Yes is still trying to put on that pressure, moving out with more vultures. He has a second dropship now. Luckily for Boneth, he did snipe that original one, so that we're not in a position where he's going to be like dying to double drops all the time. But with more mines going up in the middle, Boneth has finally got into his Reavers. Now the trouble is there is a lot of turrets going up in Yes Man's main. But if he can drop the DT down, kill that turret, that's going to be a big problem. Now, the mines do spot the shuttle moving through the map. There is a Wraith here as well. And Yes Man's pretty much perfectly defended against this for the time being. Oh, and there's a Vulture drop in the main again, but oh, the dropship goes down.
That was a huge pick-off. Obviously, you're going to lose some probes from all the Vultures, but killing the dropship means that, you know, the tech is gone, and you're going to be able to kill the Vultures eventually.
But the trouble is, the shuttle goes down as well. The Reaver is stranded in the middle of the map, just as you said before the game started, Rapid. And this is a problem for Boneth. He was betting a lot on this tech working, and it's not. He's going to have to move his... Oh, can he actually save the Reaver? He does.
Oh my goodness, that's so sick. And he also saves the DT and kills the mine off, so this is really good. I wouldn't say that Yes is in any trouble because he has so many tanks out, but wait, he does have siege mode, right?
I mean, he must do. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I was like, it would be stupid if he didn't have it by now, but he just like didn't siege the tanks for a while. So yeah, Yes is going to be in a fine spot, and actually I want to see Boneth take a third base, but he has to find some way of stopping just Infinity drops from killing all of his probes. He's probably lost on the order of like 20 to 30 probes this game.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, the good thing for him is his probe production has been really, really good. There is some mines at the back of the base, which are going to be really annoying. Fleet Beacon coming in. We took a roundabout way of getting there, but we're there finally. Fleet Beacon or Reaver into carrier after DT. Boneth is certainly playing up to his old tricks here. And there is actually a Corsair coming out to deal with this dropship. There's 2 tanks in this dropship though. If he can get this dropship, it'll be huge for the drop. Drops off the tanks. And they do siege up again. The probes are going to be in trouble, but the dropship is going to remove all the vision but scan going down, taking down another group of probes.
Yeah, that's more probe damage, man. You can't have that keep happening here. There are 2 tanks, and even with just a couple of Vultures to buffer, I mean, that's going to mean that so many of these Dragoons die. He's going to get on top of the tanks, so they die eventually, but at what cost? You got to get up a third base here at some point, Boneth. You can't stay even.
Oh, that DT survived against 2 mines in the middle of the map somehow. He killed one of them just before it exploded, but... Oh, there's another shuttle with the Reaver, but the Reaver is unfortunately still not home. Another shuttle goes down. I mean, the one benefit for Boneth here is Yes Man has got a lot of units back at home, but all of the units he's thrown away trying to do damage, they're not with his main army anymore, but has he done enough damage to Boneth's actual force to just break his way through? It looks like he's going to try and move out and take a third.
I really actually like the position of this Reaver and that DT because they did such a good job preventing any forces from Yes Man just being able to be rallied. Like, that's what you die to as a Protoss player, is the rally. You don't die to like drops. Maybe the drops deal a little bit of damage. Maybe they deal crippling damage, but they don't kill you. So stopping the rally is actually really, really important. And I actually really like the Corsairs. You don't see Corsairs as the way to stop drops very often, but it worked perfectly this time.
I genuinely thought he was going carriers and I didn't actually click anything to check, but he's going into Disruption Web on these Corsairs, so he is going to be relying entirely on D-Web and Dragoons most likely. Do his best to stop the tanks from firing, and when you know that all your opponent has is mass tank, I mean, that's a good position to be in.
You know, actually, this is the one upgrade I think I never knew was Argus Jewel. And the name of the upgrade is Develop Argus Jewel. So he's developing some Argus Jewels to get plus 50 Corsair energy. That's kind of cool. You basically never see that. So, yeah, this is just going to be a really cool game. And leave it to Bonneth, because Bonneth is like the arcane magister of Protoss. Like, this guy knows like all those Doctor Who secrets, or not Doctor Strange secrets. Well, probably Doctor Who secrets too. He knows all of them when it comes to Protoss. So this is going to be a very arcane style of PvT. Because he's also going to be going up against a bunch of Goliaths too. Because I'm guessing that Yes Man is reading a carrier transition here.
Yeah, he saw the Stargate, or he saw one Stargate, and he did see Corsairs before, so maybe he thinks, well, he is going to go for D-Web. Either way, Goliaths are going to be what you want, so he is going to have to get them. There is an Observer moving out. Going to see the move out here from Yes Man for the time being, but I mean, yeah, Bonneth's army is actually pretty good for this point in the game. He's not up at 4 base, so he is in a bit of trouble in that respect. But let's see if he can actually break through. The Corsairs trying to move in, trying to get those D-Webs. Oh, the Disruption Web, there's one.
Wow, these are so cool. They block most of the tanks. Another one in the back.
Oh my god.
No kicks. Only the tanks in the very back can pay off, and the tanks in the front just can't fire.
Oh, and he D-Webbed the back ones.
Oh my god, that one D-Web takes out all those tanks? Are you kidding me? What?
But still,
unfortunately,
we're good against tanks. That's not where you want to be. It's one attack against 0-0-0. And all of a sudden the Corsairs are gone. And what are you going to do? But, oh my god, there's so many Goliaths with this army now as well. The reinforcement of Yes Man just too strong. Pushing straight into this natural.
He's got infinite scan energy too. He's got like 2 or 3 scans on each command center, and he's getting a 4th base right now. So this reminds me a lot of that scan game that we saw earlier. This is just kind of going from bad to worse. Yeah, ultimately, more units beats less units, and no matter how strategic you want Brood War to be, that is oftentimes what it comes down to.
Yep, now it looks like Zealot Legs isn't even done yet. There are DTs trying to come in with this army. D-Webs going on the back tanks. I think 2 of them are just inside of it, so that is a benefit. He is going to be able to hold a little bit better, but no, the tanks, the Vultures and the Goliaths pushing their way forward. GG! Bonneth taps out, and yes, takes game number 2.
Oh man, I really wanted Bonneth to win that game. He was doing such a good job stopping everything, like right and left, like just really, you know, those like spinny things that Doctor Strange does, like in his hands to like stop the project. He was doing that with like the drop over here and the mines over there, and he had the DTs. It was actually really, but unfortunately in the end, you know, Yes Man, macro 2, good. The HMT. The honorable macro Terrans prevail again. The forces of justice and rightness in the universe.
I mean, the one thing you can say about that game is that was certainly not without its exciting moments. The amount of moments that Bonneth could have just immediately died, like the amount of mines that just missed. Like, that game went on for nearly 17 minutes. That could have been over within 5 minutes if Bonneth wasn't as good as he is. Like, Bonneth had the perfect defense at so many different moments in that game, and it's just really, really cool to see that. So we'll be back in just a moment with game number 3. See you guys very soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We're in our second semi-final of today. We're in the third game of this series. WHITECLAN are currently 2-0 up over NetWars, and it's going to be up to the next NetWars player here to keep the dream alive in the first game, or the first series of the best of 3, best of 5s. And that still doesn't become any easier to say the more I say it, so I'm gonna have to find a better way of saying that next time. But let's actually have a look at our
you haven't actually explained it yet, Kix. Just
okay.
so you know. So what happens is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, we've got, so there's like 3 games. You have to win 2 out of 3 in order to advance, right?
Yeah.
Not rocket science. But each one of these things is a best of 5.
Yeah.
So you have to win 1 best of 5, and then maybe you lose the second best of 5. You have to win a final best of 5 to advance. So it's a best of 3 of best of 5s.
Yes, it's like the old Shinhan Bank Pro League playoff format, so that's where I got it from. So I always thought that was always really hype when they used to do it, so I brought it back for here, and what a better place to use it than in the semi-finals. So let's actually introduce the player who's going to try and keep this up for NetWars. It's going to be Ziggy. Ziggy is a very active player in both the StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 communities. He's also very active on Twitter. I think he actually does some work for TL as well, like he does writing for them or something, if I remember correctly. I've seen his stuff on there a few times. I know he's very active around the forums either way. But really, really good Terran player. He's not had many games to show himself in the STPL, but I'm looking forward to seeing him here, and he's going to be up against Ho.
Yeah, here we go. Ho is the one of the strongest players on WHITECLAN. I mean, he's just insanity. He's he lost 1 game to Boneth. Oh no! But he's also beaten Ariador and Dragon and Boneth previously, Dandy, Machine, like all of these monsters. Although I guess that win against Machine, I don't want to say that doesn't count, but that was a very long time ago.
Yeah, Ho has been super active though for his team. He's won 13 out of the games he's played. I do need to add somewhere like their total games, because I did have that before, but I took it away for some reason. But either way, Ho, a really, really good player. Let's get into map number 3, which is going to be Holy World SE. Or according to that Pathfinder, Holy World SE, it's back once again. You may have seen it in round 4. It's the map with a pentagram worth of disruption webs in the middle of the map. I saw someone earlier ask in chat, not that there's been anyone in chat for a while, exactly what the purpose of the disruption webs are. And honestly, it seems a bit funny and funky when you think about it, but it's to make it harder to just randomly push through the middle of the map. Obviously, there's a large open space. Maps usually that have that kind of thing are often incredibly Protoss favored, stuff like Central Plains, which is pretty much completely open. And what it does is it makes it a little bit harder to just kind of amass all your units and just go in from a big circle, because you have to be wary about where they're stood.
Yeah. I mean, we talked this map into the ground. Just infest the command center somehow. That's all we care about.
Yeah. Let's get into game number 4. It's game number 3. Then it's Ziggy versus Ho, and it's on Holy World SE. Okay, and starting us off here in the bottom right-hand position, we do have the Purple Terran fighting for NetWars, trying to keep the dream alive. It's Ziggy.
Oh boy, is he just. He's trying. His opponent in the upper left, in the blue. Playing for WHITECLAN is Zerg. It is Ho. And, oh boy, he's very good. And I'm really excited to see what this version of a ZVT looks like. Because, you know, Ziggy, like you said, is good. He's on a very good team. But, I mean, Ho is just one of the best. So, yeah, he might have his work cut out for him.
Yeah, it's always one of those things you have to be wary of, especially when you're in a big team tournament like this. Every once in a while you'll send out a player, and if you maybe plan incorrectly, or maybe this is planned, Ziggy could be a really good TVZ player, maybe he's got a special plan. Wait, special build planned is what I was trying to say. We'll have to see exactly what's going to go on. Ziggy looks like he's going to be going for a quick expansion regardless. Maybe going to look to try and semi-wall off here. It's not going to be a perfect wall regardless. It's a little bit too wide of a sort of area. But Ho is going into a 12 hatch anyway, so he's not got too much to worry about, thankfully.
Yeah. If this was something super aggressive, anytime I see a Korean Zerg player, I expect it to be 9 pool speed every game, because that's just so classic. If you play on the Korean ladder at all, that's just what you go up against. You see the Zerg, you know the build. Unless you're Protoss, then it's overpool. But basically, This is going to be a 12 hatch, so this is pretty benign early on. If you don't catch it, then it can get a little bit out of control if you let the Zerg play too greedily.
That was an 8 racks, my apologies. I completely miscounted the buildings. So he's got an 8 racks coming in, he's going to be pushing across the map. Now, unfortunately, he's going to have to push cross positions here, and he's going to scout that last. So, a little bit unfortunate by Ziggy, but obviously he does know exactly where he needs to send his Marine now. Is he going to be able to do any damage? That's the big question when it comes to 8 racks. Drones, if the 8 racks is controlled well enough, drones aren't going to do anything against it. But if Ziggy can get in there at the right time, maybe he can make something happen. Now, Ho does see the Marine running in. He sees the SCV as well. And he's actually going to pull most of his drones. So this is going to be a very important moment in this game. Oh, he's going to wall off with a double bunker.
Okay, that's actually so ridiculous. Wait, is he?
Kind of, well, he's gonna get 1 bunker up at least, like...
Good Marine micro. One of the Marines is gonna die here, but he's starting to kill drones. And if you can get... look at it, body blocking! Oh, so sick!
Is this Warcraft 3? Like, what was up with that body blocking, Ho?
Wow. Oh my goodness, that's insane! He only has lost 1 drone, I think? I think it's like 1 drone.
Went down to 3 Marines. I mean, the Lings are out now. This is pretty much going to be it for this 8 racks. He's going to have to put his tail between his legs, go back home, and that's 200 minerals on bunkers that have done absolutely nothing. And now you leave yourself open to a Ling counter.
Terrible. Like, what is he, making a wall with Marines? Look at this wall from Ziggy. He's just going to fall over.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you go for Zealots walling, if the Zealots had, like, no armor and no weapons. Like, Marines do not do well against Zerglings in this kind of position, but he does have the couple of SCVs at the front. Maybe they can body block as well as the drones did. He may actually... No, he's not going to lose the Overlord either. So Ziggy is definitely not in the best of positions right now, but can he micro well enough to deal with this? He does get one of the Lings, and he's got a decent number of Marines right now, so that's something.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, he doesn't have anything else, so I mean, I'm imagining eventually mutas are going to pop out, and he's just so far behind.
Yeah, he does have 2 racks though. He's going into an academy. He's going to take this 8 racks. He's going to go, okay, that didn't work. He's denying all possible scouting of an expansion, so he can push out with a big force of Medic Marine here with a couple of Firebats as well. He's going Sparks Terran. It's a little bit of a dodgy way of getting into this build because he did lose so many Marines early, but it's 3 whacks on 1 base. He's going to go for big handbang timing here and see if he can break Ho before he can get his tech out.
Alright, doesn't catch the Zerglings out at the front, but just kind of poking, prodding. And yeah, this is really cool because you can block the Zerg player from scouting if you have a command center or not. Obviously, if you want to stack the Overlord or take a little bit more damage, you can squeeze it in there and see. But I don't think Ho knows if there's a CC on the way or not.
He doesn't. He tried to push in before, but he couldn't see in. I mean, Ziggy's doing a really, really good job hiding his Marine count at the moment. I mean, his second racks has only really just finished, but everything looks relatively normal for Ho in terms of what he can see so far. So it's going to be important that he does scout this, but if he gets pretty much any number more than 3 sunken colonies, there's going to be pretty much nothing Ziggy can do about this.
Well, he's got 2 creep colonies, unmorphed, and that might just spell disaster because the Marines are going to get scouted as they go across the map. Hopefully, nothing else gets scouted. Where were those fire bats? I thought I was going to watch a couple of those be built, but it looks like the answer is no.
He only just built the academy, so he's going to go for range first, actually, along with a couple of medics. Then he'll go for firemats behind this. They're going to be very, very important. They have a lot of armor. They actually start with 1 base armor, kind of like medics do. But it looks like he's actually just going to mass medics. So his plan here is to build enough medics that no matter how many Sunkens you have, your range just don't die. And you can see that Ho has only actually morphed 1 Sunken so far. So as long as Ziggy can stay alive, as long as he can build up his force, maybe he can still get this Sunken bust going in. But he's going to be up against the Spire. He doesn't have an engineering bay, and he's going to be relying entirely on Marine Micro here to try and not only keep himself alive, but also try and beat the Zerg player.
Well, the Marine Micro at the beginning of the game was not that great. So hopefully it has drastically improved. The Lings are trying to do a little bit of a flankerino here, get back in, but they are going to be met by a welcoming party of Marines that will kill all of them. Oh, yeah. Yes, the pop out on that last Marine, the spawn location, stopped any of those Zerglings from getting in. That means it's nothing but Marines coming up. 7 sunken colonies on the way, Kicks.
Yeah, this is the looks like Stim was done first. He doesn't have all the. Oh, he needs to pull back. He needs to get away from the sunken colonies. That's all of the Marines down. Oh. Ziggy leaves the game. GG.
Wow. That was anticlimactic, but I think we all kind of saw that. A great realization by Ho to say, look, I just need to build the Zerg Alamo. Last stand is right here. All these Sunkens. He knew what was coming.
Yeah, when you see that many units that early, and also you see the fact there's medics like heading towards your base, at that point you just know the only thing that could possibly go wrong is suddenly you get sunken busted and you lose. Now, he played sensibly. What he did was he just built a lot of sunken colonies, kept himself alive, and the Mutalists and the Sunkens together just kind of kept him alive. But we are going to go into the 4th game here. It's going to be pretty much the game I was looking forward to the most out this series, because Yeti is back. He beat Bjol in the last finals that NetWars played in, and now he's going to be up against Farmasi again. Another PBT for Yeti. Let's see what he can do when we get back after this very short break. See you guys very soon. Apparently you're a rectangular forehead because I didn't make Discord bigger. That's cool. That's me. Where is my button to change the right scene? Here we go.
There we go. Got it.
Okay guys, so welcome back. We're here for game number 4 between WHITECLAN and NetWars. WHITECLAN have won the first series in their best of 3, best of 5s semi-finals, but Yeti is here for one last stand against Farmasi.
Yeah, obviously WHITECLAN are killing it so far, but if there's one game you have to watch from the series, this is going to be a lot like our first best of 5 of the day, where maybe the first 3 games are a little bit lackluster, but the final game is the creme de la creme of StarCraft here. You got Yeti, who is one of the highest ELO non-Korean players in STPL, and he's going to be going up against Farmasi, arguably the strongest non-pro gamer roster or non-pro gamer player on WHITECLAN's roster. Yeti is the real deal, and maybe he's not quite as strong as he used to be, but he's still just insanely strong. Beaten BL, beaten Terror. He's taken games off to Walt in the past that don't show up here, but he's very, very good.
Yeah, and I mean, his opponent, one of the best players on WHITECLAN in STPL. He's done an incredible job. He's beaten some really, really good players. He's actually lost to some good players as well. He lost to TT1 and Spire quite recently. Well, I say recently, October in 2018 was a very long time ago now. But FAMASI was kind of absent from the WHITECLAN roster in round 4. I think they kind of wanted to show off a few more of their players. And going back to what I said Gyro said to me, like, they're not holding back now. They want this final. They want to win. And that's why you see FAMASI back out here. Just an absolute beast. 75% win rate. One of the highest ranked yellow players as well. And I mean, this is going to be a really sick game, I'm hoping, between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're basically guaranteed. I hope we actually don't see another game like DeWalt just cheesing Biel out of the last game of the previous series, because both of these players can absolutely give you just an insane performance. So I can't wait to get into this, Kicks.
Yeah, and just to explain, just once again, it is a best of 5, but they play each other 3 times. So basically, whoever wins this series, which in this case is going to be White, they have 1 point in the best of 3. So they're going to have to beat NetWars again if they want to win and make it to the final. But this is kind of like the victory lap for them in the first series. So let's have a look at our next and final map. It's going to be on Polaris Rhapsody. Now, I kind of explained this a little bit before. Polaris Rhapsody is a 2-player map. Top left and bottom right hand spawns. Major map features are the small bridges outside of the natural, very tight corridors around the entire map, making it very difficult for players to sort of engage each other. But there's also a lot of flanking opportunities. There's double gas bases in the top right and bottom left, and also mineral-only bases in the top and bottom. So without further ado, let's get into game number 4. It's FAMASI versus Yeti for the final game of today. Okay, and starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we do have the White Protoss fighting for NetWars. It's gonna be Yeti.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner in the red, playing for WHITECLAN. It is their Terran player, FAMAS-E, or just FAMAS. It's a gun. If you didn't know what FAMAS is, it's a good one. It's the reason that, people quit playing CSGO. It's pretty strong, and he's a very strong player too. Plus, maybe he arms his Marines with FAMAS's.
Yeah, instead of the pulse rifle things.
Yeah, well, FAMAS's are basically better than every other gun anyway, so probably a good idea.
Well, one little bit of context going into this game, I'd sort of touched upon it before, but we had Biel playing in the previous series against iRk. He actually played against DeWalt and lost some mass DTs, which is kind of funny. It was on this map, obviously, but one thing about Yeti is Yeti also faced Biel back in the round 3 semi-final. We basically saw Yeti take on Biel. He played a macro game. It was incredibly back and forth the whole way, and after 40 minutes, Yeti starved out Biel and won the game. So if there's anybody on NetWars other than Bonus that could take down FAMASI, it's going to be Yeti. He's an incredibly strong Protoss player when the time comes to be needed. I know there's a lot of people who'd maybe say, Yeti's not that good, he's not even one of the top foreigners, but you know what? When the pressure's on, when he has a game that he needs to win for his team, he always comes out, and he always shows great games.
Yes, I think you can basically guarantee that. So let's see what's in store for us. This game kicks. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Cyber Core come down just right here. Yep, there it is. 1 gate core opener, pretty standard there by Yeti. And on the other side, we are going to have a gas opener. 3 SCVs in that gas. So we are going to at least have those for a little bit. Probably just going to go up to that 1-1-1.
Now, the interesting thing is, FamSE is kind of playing the exact opposite to how Buell played this map. Buell went for a 1 racks fast expand. FamSE, not only is he going for a gas expand, he's also super walling off. Like, he does not want to die early on. And this is one of the powerful things about FamSE. Like, he is an incredibly defensive player. And that's what's made him so powerful in this STPL. There's been so many Protoss players especially that have stood up against this man. And no matter what, they just can't find any damage. Now, is Yeti going to be able to buck that trend and make something happen?
You know, I'm actually kind of surprised about that. I'm not sure exactly what causes FamSE to be so defensive, because he absolutely doesn't need to be. But especially if you watch that previous game versus DeWalt, you know what foreign Protosses can do to Korean Terrans early on, so he just doesn't want to die that way.
Now, I'm kind of interested to see exactly where FamSE is going to take this. His previous games, he's played very timing attack orientated, so he'll sit back, he'll get to 2-1, he'll push, and he'll usually win the game. But yet he does have his first seller out. This is when this wall is going to come in real handy. He doesn't get up the ramp in time to block the factory from finishing, but it's actually going to be a 2 factory play here from FamSE, and that's very surprising. Like, I didn't expect to see that against him. But the funny thing is, this is exactly what Buell did to Yeti last time, and Yeti survived it. Can Yeti do it again?
Well. I guess we have quite a bit to ask ourselves here, Kicks. Let's see if the Zealot can bulldoze its way up the ramp. The Dragoon, of course, will have mischance on the low ground, but actually, Yeti's not going for it.
Yeah, Yeti's being a little bit safe. Like, he knows that there's no expansion command center, and he saw that there was people still in gas, so he knows there's a 2-fact coming his way, and he knows all he has to do is defend this to be in an incredibly good position. He does have this bridge just outside. I do apologize for the slow-mo, and huge thank you to Cobalt Blue for the tier 1 sub. 4 months you've subbed now as well, so huge thank you for all the support. And FamSE is going to pull his SCV back now and just see if he can go back in and get some scouting done. But that's going to be 1 dead SCV, and he's not going to see this come up. Oh, this Nexus coming up.
Yeah, so not seeing that Nexus, or maybe even another one. Like, you can't get too crazy about expanding, but especially once he is able to scout the, I assume that's a command, or starport being built.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh wow, I actually thought that was a CC for a second. If that was a CC, I guess I can understand, but it is going to be a starport, so we are... this actually could be a kind of a scary moment for Yeti.
Yeah, 2-fact starport is something you don't often see just because of how gas expensive it is. But FamSE is going to push forward with his vultures, lay a couple of defensive mines, and he's going to be going for a big drop most likely. He does have, obviously, mines finished. He's not started siege mode or speed just yet. So so there is a control tower coming up, so it is going to be a dropship, but he's still playing incredibly defensively, and the longer he sits back, the better this is going to get for Yeti.
Yeah, actually that's a good point. This does just keep getting better and better, but the caveat to that is that if Yeti has to deal with these high-tech units that FAMAS has produced, he's not going to be in a super great spot. And if we've seen one thing all day, it has been big Terran pushes killing Protoss players.
That is something we have certainly seen. It's something we've seen a lot in the STPL as well, and something you see a lot at the pro level. So,
thank you, Scan.
Yep, it's all good there. But here we go. We do have that push coming in. Speed is going to be done very, very soon for these vultures. The dropship is on the way as well, so he's got a few options of how he approaches this. Obviously, just getting the dropship is going to give you vision to siege down this Nexus, but he doesn't have siege mode yet. So there is going to be a Dragoon over in this top left corner that's going to see these vultures coming in. He's not necessarily going to be able to stop them, and he's not going to see that speed is done either. So Pharmacy is still kind of in the dark, but he's in a good position knowing where those units are.
Well, the real thing is going to be these two tanks. Obviously, when you're two-facting things out, this is the moment that you really want to go with. You're going to drop in the back, push up the front, and one Dragoon is not going to stop our Terran player from getting across that ramp.
Yeah, now Yeti has actually played this quite greatly, but there are a good number of units. Is he going to be able to stop this this dropship coming in, though? He doesn't see it, and this drop could do a lot of damage back here. He does at least have a shuttle, so he's going to be able to shuttle some Dragoons around to deal with this. Oh, but that's a heartbreaker. Yeti actually has his units away from home, trying to block units coming around the side, but there's mines going up in the main.
I love that he's going for the deep mine lay, not just putting them only on the ramp. Because now he can retreat back into the base. No, not like this. So many probes going down. Catastrophic damage being done by Pharmacy.
Oh no, the mine's doing so much damage as well to the Dragoons, not having the same level of control as the wall in that exact moment, trying to deal with two fronts at once. Proving very difficult. Now the one benefit he does have is this shuttle. He can maybe micro up and down into it. Very difficult to do. But he is still holding. He's not lost too many. Oh, this mine!
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, that's a lot of damage kicks. And how are you going to get back into your main? There's 3 vultures killing everything there. You still haven't killed off all these tanks. Oh my goodness. We don't have quite the 6-minute curse, but this is looking like a cursed image for Yeti.
But then again, Pharmacy has not got his second base mining. Oh no, the mines again! Oh,
they just keep getting worse and worse.
So much, yeah. It's
yeah, these mines.
difficult.
I mean, you get the vulture for free.
Oh, and the vultures on the high ground. I mean, they've killed 9 probes now, so that is a problem. But Yeti has had 2 Nexuses producing probes for a very long time. And look at the units of Pharmacy. He doesn't have that many. He's got a single tank running over. The vultures in the main are getting cleaned up. The dropship is alive, so that threat is still there. But Yeti is down, but he's not out. He's still alive. We saw him take a lot of damage against Biol like this as well, and he managed to come back. Now, he's still got a good number of probes, so he's not completely out of this just yet.
I mean, yeah, but he's on even bases against the Terran player, and so it's not necessarily what happens right now. It's what's going to happen in, like 10 minutes, right? 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's where do you go to get another base? You don't. And how do you stop losing more probes? Well, you also don't, because this dropship is just going to fly in again, and there's nothing to stop it. Okay, there's 1 Dragoon, but still, all these drones, or probes, very vulnerable.
Yeah, now Yeti's moving forward again. He's expecting units to run in the front, but he's not going to expect this drop in the back. It's only 2 vultures this time. They've only got 2 mines each, so it's not going to be as catastrophic as the last one, but still 2 probes going down, 3 probes, 4 probes, great control, 5. I mean, at least he's killed one of the vultures. That does severely... Oh, the mine!
Oh no! He could actually just legit kill these Dragoons with mines, but thankfully the observer's there. In the end, this is pretty tragic for Yeti. He's so just kind of stifled at this point. There's nothing he could do to be aggressive at all. I mean, he has a shuttle, but like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, the only option he has is to try and power up and then catch Pharmacy before he can get super powerful. He's only got 2 tanks at the moment, or 3 tanks, only 2 in siege mode, 3 now. But look at Pharmacy, he kept the dropship alive, another 3 vultures gonna be dropping into the main. And just the amount of pressure that Pharmacy is keeping on Yeti this game is insane.
I'm waiting. Just for him to like fall over from this. Vultures can absolutely just win the game. Look at these mines. I mean, wait until they go off in the mineral line and actually deal damage. Oh, this is just a matter of time. Oh, more Dragoons, more blue goo, more blueberry pie filling. I just bought some of that yesterday for a pie I'm making. Kicks. I know exactly what it looks like, and that's that. Wow. I mean, a good job killing off those vultures. But you know why he was able to kill off those vultures so easily, Kicks? Because he has his entire army sitting in his main base, waiting for it to happen, not doing anything else out of the map. And I wouldn't even be a bit surprised if we see like a 3rd command center come down here pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, there's not too much he can actually do on the map right now, but you can see Pharmacy is going into his attack upgrades. Going to be +1. His 2-1 is going to be severely delayed from the amount of sort of pressure he was putting on, but he's into 5 factories now. He's got another drop loading up. This time it's going to be a tank and 2 vultures. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to sit on top of the natural. They're going to get even more probes. And Yeti, unfortunately, just unable to get his units in the places they need to be, could find himself in a lot of trouble once again.
Oh boy. Well, I don't know what to say about Yeti. He does have 2 bases, so he's producing 2 probes at a time, right? That's good. Otherwise, he'd be saturated by now. But his opponent has had full saturation on 2 bases for this entire game, basically. And it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. The dropship's still alive. Thankfully, this time it looks like, Pharmacy is going to kind of get stopped. Mind Drag into the tank. Doesn't kill it, but it does die in the end. More blue goo, though, as these tanks... I'm just waiting for these mines to kill everything. Actually, it looks like the Observer's going to stop any of those mines from going off. So that was a decent stoppage of that droppage.
Now, this is the big problem, though. He's done a lot of good defending. He's lost a lot of probes, but realistically, he could have just lost the game already to those. But Pharmacy, while this has been going on, he's building up his tank count, he's building up his vulture count, and he's even got Goliaths to help against a possible shuttle bomb or something. And I mean, yes, he's going to move out on the map to try and beat this in the middle of the map, see if he can delay it as long as humanly possible. But with these Goliaths, it's going to be so difficult to deal with this.
I'm waiting. This is actually kind of uncharacteristic that a Terran player would have to run back. Just trying to stop the shuttle from dropping. It does get the Zealots off, but they're not on top of the tanks.
Yeah.
They're just barely right in front. So the tanks siege, unsiege, even start unsieging before the Zealots are even dead. I think we're just going to see more of the same here, Kicks. A big Terran push, killing off helpless, defenseless Protoss units.
Yeah, +1 attack really strong in this situation. Yeti unfortunately does not have much left. He's only on 3 gateways against 5 factories. His 5th gateway is coming up now, but it's a little bit too late. Just taking a little bit too much damage as this game went on from all of the constant pressure. Just think, Rapid, that was 1 dropship. Think how much damage that 1 dropship did. It's just... It's amazing. Like, it's just a well-played game by Pharmacy. Yeti taps out.
Wow, what a game. I love how Famas was so reluctant to go across that tiny bridge. He went up to the right, took the high ground, and then when Yeti kind of pushed into him, nowhere to go. Wow, what a game. Very masterfully played there by Famasi. Reminding me a little bit of that game with, let me turn my camera back on, of game where Bonneth was just kind of trying to defend against the repeated attacks over and over and over again, and ultimately was unsuccessful there at the end. But Yeti really did a good job defending. He just took too much damage. Really well played there. So congratulations to WHITECLAN. They crush it in their opener in this final best of 5.
Yeah,
or 3.
Yeah, okay, so just to say, if you are a NetWars fan, all is not lost. They still have another series to try and bring this back. Just in case you're just tuning in, it is a best of 3 of best of 5s. So this best of 5 counts as 1 point in that best of 3 for WHITECLAN. So to get into the finals, they're going to have to win again. But if they can repeat this kind of domination, they could easily get into the final. I mean, Gecko got a walkover win versus True Touch. That was pretty much a heartbreaker for me, because I think that True Touch had a really good chance there. But Yes Man took down Bonneth in a really, really cool game. So much action in that game. If you did miss that, check that out on the YouTube VOD after the cast. The link to the YouTube and everything is underneath the stream. Taking down Ziggy. That was a little bit more. That was probably the most one-sided game we had. And then Pharmacy taking down Yeti just with a ridiculous amount of pressure.
Yeah, pretty textbook. Even if True Touch had been here and gotten that win over Gecko, WHITECLAN still would have won in the end, most likely. Very, very impressive day for our Korean clans, WHITECLAN and SouL. The strong get stronger. They both pick up wins early on in STPL finals. So we're getting down to it. We're gonna have 2 more best of 5s coming up for you. I think it's tomorrow. So don't miss it. There's more STPL finals coming up.
Yeah, see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, 2100 CEST. If you do want to support the STPL, you can still add to the prize pool. That's on the Matrino link that every once in a while was spammed in the chat. But if you want to find it as well, you can check it out on the Team Liquid thread. It's all there. You can also support in other ways if you want to support the future seasons and also support me. The best way you can do that is by heading on over to the Patreon, which has also been spammed out as well. There's a link to that in the chat somewhere. I can post it all at the end though. A huge thank you to everyone who's tuned in. We actually hit a record number of STPL viewers, so huge thank you to everybody, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more STPL action. Ciao.